Okay, but but what's the argument for the existence of God?
Well, we got to come to an agreement on what the Bible is, first of all. I mean, what are we talking about?
What are you talking? I don't know what you're asking. Is that a question? I don't.
Yeah, that's a
We have to
question.
come to
In your opinion, what is the Bible,
a religious book.
and how was it compiled?
I don't know what that's asking.
What is the source of that material?
The source. Are you talking about like the paper that composes the book?
I'm talking about the information within the book. Is it natural or supernatural?
Suppose we have no answer. Let's just get clear. What's the argument that God exists?
We have the Bible that makes claims about the people, human nature.
Okay, it makes claims, but what's
claims.
the
It makes
what's
claims
the argument
about
God
our
exists?
origins. It makes claims about catastrophic events that have happened in the past and that we have evidence of.
Okay, but what's the argument that God exists, though?
It's all of the claims in the Bible are verifiably true.
Okay, well, that's just a claim that I'm skeptical of, and you'd have to present an argument in light of that claim, and that would just include more claims than merely the proposition God exists.
Well,
look, so that's more than enough food on your plate to chew. But look, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Do you maybe even have an argument for the existence of God?
Yeah, the whole argument is that God has revealed His Word, and everything that He says in that Word is applicable to this life and true, and it's verifiably true.
Okay, but revelation is some type of action that God undertakes, right?
Yeah, God went through a process of creating the Bible.
Look, we can ascribe, but the issue there is that we can ascribe God of having the property of revelation in a way that we can also quantify predicates over fictional entities, like Harry Potter has brown hair. And that doesn't actually essentially commit you to the existence of things like Harry Potter. Unless you're making a question-begging argument and saying the reason why God exists is because the entity of God exists and had done an action, right? And I'm, of course, just skeptical into the existence of God for which he can actualize certain actions, right?
Okay, well, let me ask you a question, if you don't mind.
Well, no, right now we're trying to get clear what's the argument for God.
The argument for God is that the Bible is a supernatural book that was produced by God over a period of 1,500 years.
So the reason I believe God exists is because there's a book that was created by the God that's in question to exist.
Yes.
You don't see it, the issue that's being had there?
Well, I don't think
created the Bible.
I don't think you're entertaining the idea that it could possibly be true.
Look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just doing this mischaritable interpretation of what you're saying. Are you saying that it's expected under the hypothesis God exists that there would be a Bible, such that the expectation is greater than on the negation that there's not the Christian God, such that that's evidence that God exists? Is that what you're saying?
Can you rephrase the question?
Are you just saying, you understand how evidence works, right? It's just what a hypothesis predicts.
I'm trying to present you evidence, but you're getting hung up on the fact of the existence of God or not.
No, you weren't doing that. The type of inference you were making was not clearly evidential, and it was question begging. But look, I'm trying to now offer a better interpretation of maybe what you're saying. Is what you're saying that we have the background fact of there being Bibles, and Bibles are expected to exist under the hypothesis that Christian God is real. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that God has produced a book that is the best-selling book of all time.
Okay, but just say yes or no. Is the interpretation I offered capturing what you're saying? Or is it unclear?
Yeah, it's a little bit unclear exactly what you are saying.
Okay, so do you know how evidence works?
Yes.
You agree evidence is just what it's expected under a hypothesis. That if true, condition on the hypothesis raises the hypothesis probability, right?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, so is what you're saying, we have the background fact that there are Bibles, and we would expect that if there were we would expect more greatly that there would be Bibles under the hypothesis God exists than if not. Is that the idea?
Yes, the idea is that God has a message that he wants to get to the world, and he has put it in print so that everyone
No, just say yes or no. Is what I said accurate?
Yes.
Okay, well, first I find it contentious that we would expect that there were Bibles if there wasn't a Christian God. That we wouldn't expect that there, or at least we would expect less under competing hypotheses that are not the Christian God hypothesis, that those would have less predictive fertility and such thing. Okay, well, let's consider this. Now, under the hypothesis, there are aliens that they have the aim to deceive humanity of Christianity, and they have highly advanced technology. What's the inference that justifies the claim that this is greater expected under the God hypothesis?
I'm not clear on the question.
Okay, what I'm doing is I'm offering a competing hypothesis that aims to accommodate the data that there are Bibles, right? That fact, what we're doing is we're building certain hypotheses to accommodate that fact. Now, What I'm doing is offering a competitive hypothesis, because you seem to be of the belief that the best hypothesis in accommodating the fact is the God, or the hypothesis that expects such fact most greatly is the God hypothesis. So I'm offering a competitive hypothesis to see how it offers in terms of, I guess you can say, expective power, right?
So
Expectational power.
I would ask you, how does your hypothesis stack up against the Bible?
Well, the
What do
Bible
you
is
mean?
the evidence.
Yeah, the Bible is the thing that's being accommodated. It's the thing in accommodation right now.
So the two hypotheses are God did it, or advanced aliens who want to deceive us into Christianity did it. Why is it more expected on God doing it than on aliens doing it?
We have written record of it by human beings that have recorded history.
Yeah, and how is that unexpected if there are aliens that desired to
Well, you would
deceive
expect
Christianity?
the same. If
Humans
there
of
were
Christianity.
actual aliens, you would expect that to be in writing, right? You'd expect to be
Yeah,
copied
so
upon
under the
copy.
alien hypothesis, it equally expects that. So that point is stalked by my competing hypothesis.
Why do we not have those writings from ancient civilizations?
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
The alien hypothesis. Why do we not have writings about that from
Oh, the
ancient
aliens didn't want us to know about it.
Yeah, the aliens aim to be hidden and deceive humanity of Christianity. So all the historical accounts that are going to be reported in the Bible are done in aim or in light of the aliens who orchestrated it.
So where are your writings that verify these things? Or are you just making this up?
Writings that verify what?
Your story, your hypothesis. You have any? Is this
But we
something you
wouldn't-
made up?
we wouldn't
or
expect
are you
that
the only one that
evidence.
says this, or is there? a
Okay,
whole
wait,
group
just
of
to be
people that
clear,
believe
wait, yeah, we got to clarify this point. Under the aliens hypothesis, it's not expected, it's actually disexpected under the hypothesis that there are writings of aliens.
Well,
Yeah, they wouldn't want that to
you don't
happen.
know human nature, because human nature is to get information out to everybody.
Hmm?
Human nature is to get the information to everybody.
I'm not clear how is that aiming to respond to something I said?
Well, the
that
source of the
doesn't seem-
information is aliens, right?
Well, part of the problem with your hypothesis is you are assuming characteristics of human beings that are not real or realistic.
What psychological facts of humans are we assuming?
You're assuming that people would not get this information out to the masses. There's always reporters.
Get
Every
what
society.
information? Wait, sorry, get what information to the masses?
The information about the aliens.
The aliens are hidden.
Yeah, they're like super advanced.
They have advanced technology that they're invisible. Have you ever seen Predator? Yeah, they just cannot be seen. They're not perceivable. But they orchestrated the events of the Bible, right? The miracle accounts that were performed were done by aliens with advanced technology.
You're talking about the movie Predator.
Yeah, it was just a reference, yes.
It's a work of fiction.
Invisible like those.
Right?
Yeah, nice observation. Yes, Predator is a fictional film.
Okay. So the Bible itself is not presented
point
as a
there.
work of fiction. The Bible is actually a legal document.
I think you're missing the mark, man.
Well,
Doug, you're not
the
getting what's being
aliens
said.
wouldn't want. Yeah, the aliens wouldn't want to present it as a work of fiction. That would go against their goal.
I'm not okay. What we're not saying is that it is the aliens from Predator. What's being said is similarly how the aliens in the film Predator have the technology such that they have the aptitude to make themselves invisible. The aliens that we're talking about in our hypothesis has relevantly similar inscriptions. Was that hard to? That was pretty easy to digest, I would think. I don't know how you interpret it as I don't know what you're doing.
Have you ever heard the term that fantasy it mimics reality?
Okay, look, this is just besides the point. Let's just go back to, we have the aliens hypothesis and we have the God hypothesis and accommodating the fact that there are Bibles. Why would I think that it's God over aliens?
Because you don't have as many documents and scribes and scholars going over these documents, verifying and translating them into English.
What documents?
The 66 books of the Bible. I mean, there's scholars that have poured over the scriptures for.
You don't think aliens can deceive them?
I'm not quite. I don't know if maybe. Okay, let's try this again, just to be clear, because I'm not sure if what you were saying was responding, and if it was, it doesn't seem like I actually tracked that point. So what I'm asking is, what does the God hypothesis offer in accommodating the fact that there are Bibles that the aliens hypothesis lacks that we can abduce the God hypothesis? What was the answer to that?
Yeah, what evidence is expected on God but not expected on aliens?
It might not even be evidence-based. It just might be scientific heuristics or whatever. But, actually, never mind. He doesn't know what those are.
My evidence is that you can get on the internet and you can read in any language the Word of God, the Bible, the 66 books.
How's that evidence that God
aliens can
accommodates?
That's evidence that God wants to get His Word to the masses, to everybody.
But no, that's equally but it's also expected under the aliens hypothesis that the Bible is sent to the masses. That's something that is going to be built into the hypothesis. There are aliens who aim to deceive humanity of Christianity.
Right.
They want mass.
That would be the equivalent of Satan.
Okay, that's
Okay.
mass deceit, though.
Right. And God allows
Okay, so
that
what does the God hypothesis have again over the aliens hypothesis?
because the Bible's reality.
Because I'm asking you what it has that the alien hypothesis lacks,
Because the
such that
God
you think
story
it's
is
the
much
God
more
hypothesis
the
over.
God story is much more interesting than the alien hypothesis.
It's the same story.
It's
Okay,
the
wait,
same story. Yeah, exactly.
wait, but
Except for the fact that it's real. It's reality.
wait. Look, okay. Well, first, like Flencer clearly said, the alien hypothesis stalks the historical account. So you're not saying anything informative there by saying that the exact same story, but under the God hypothesis, is somehow more interesting when it's the same contents. But it being more interesting is not actually. That does nothing to epistemically support. That does nothing to support. I don't even want to use these terms because you might get confused.
Yeah.
But obviously, whether one is more interesting than another does nothing to support that this hypothesis is greater than another. Whether I think a hypothesis is more interesting doesn't mean there's more evidence going for it, and doesn't mean that it better cooperates with scientific heuristics or certain scientific principles, right? So, okay, let's just grant you it's more interesting.
Maybe he doesn't understand that we're saying that the aliens have a goal of deceiving humanity to believe in Christianity, right? Like Christianity, the real fact of the matter is Christianity is not true, but the aliens just want to deceive you into believing it's true. So they write this Old Testament, New Testament, or they whisper in people's ears to write this thing, right? And so all the facts are the same, and they're all predicted by aliens with sufficiently advanced technology could do this. There's no law of physics that's preventing them from doing something like this.
So that's an interesting take. I don't think I've heard that before. But what would be their motive?
Just for fun.
No, we're not saying there's motivation. Oh, are you asking? Oh, sorry, I misinterpreted what he's saying. Are you saying what are the motivations for why the aliens do it? Suppose we don't have an answer.
Well, I mean that's acceptable, but the story kind of gets boring if you don't have an answer for why they're doing this.
Wait, okay, well, I mean, I think maybe we can kind of mirror those types of questions for God anyways.
Yeah, but you could just say it's like teenage aliens out for fun, just pulling a prank on some primates that they see on a backwards planet. They're like, hey, check out what we can do. And they live a long time, so this is, 2,000, 5,000 years is nothing.
The point is that the motivation for the aliens is besides the point.
Yeah.
No,
and
you gotta
like
have
Flencer said,
motivation. For a story to be interesting, you have to have interesting characters.
We're not talking about how interesting it is. We're talking about whether
that's what I'm talking about.
No, then you're confused in what this conversation is.
No.
What we're doing is comparing two competing hypotheses to see which one is either evidentially greater or which one is abductively greater, which just is concerned with epistemic or even philosophy of science heuristics.
Well,
right? So we're trying to see
when you take out the human element and the emotions and the motivations and all that stuff, then you're left with empty facts.
Well, maybe their motivation is to save humanity from some future disaster, and getting us to believe in Christianity is the way that we do it.
I think this guy's just too old and dumb, and his reasoning skills are too poor to continue this conversation, to be honest.
I mean, that's a hypothesis that would explain the evidence.
Yeah, I think there is pretty novel evidence, too, that might confirm that theory. But look, I don't know, it doesn't seem like you're even tracking where we're at in the conversation, nor offering anything substantial. Do you have any other, maybe a question before you leave? Because I'm just going to move to the next guest.
No, I was tracking with you, but I was coming in from a different angle. I'm sorry.
No, you weren't. You were trying to raise an objection about
my perspective, but I guess I'm gonna move on, brother.
No, you weren't tracking because you thought whether a hypothesis was more interesting was relevant to the topic.
Well, I think interesting is one of the theoretical virtues, isn't it?
Yeah. I forgot that. Oh my god, I got destroyed on that point. He cooked. Yeah. Well, yeah. What's up? Hi. Which year do you want to talk about?
What's up? I was just want to comment about how God is real, or why you think he's not. I've been commenting the whole time. I mean, existence itself is your evidence. Existence, period.
Why would I think if things exist that's reason? Well, no. Okay. Well, let's stop. Well, hold on. Let's stop there first, because now you're just throwing a bunch of claims out. The first was that if things exist, that's reason to believe in a God, and the second was that everything that exists has a beginning. Well, it's not true. That's clearly principally not true under your own view. Because if God exists, then God would have a beginning, would be an entailment of your principle. And it's just not true God has a beginning to his existence. He's eternal. Okay, so it's just not true that if things exist, that logically entails that they have a beginning. Because there are entities, even if it's exclusively God, who exist and don't have a beginning. But if things exist, which we're going to presume again, it's things that are not God. If things other than God exist, that's reason I expect there's... Yeah, you had a ringer. If things that are not God were to exist, then that's reason I think God exists. Why would I think that? If things were to exist, then that's reason I think there's a God.
I'm sorry, I got a phone call. I couldn't even hear like the last 20 seconds of what you were saying. I'm so sorry.
Yes, for the second point, you said if things other than God were to exist, that the existence of things that are not God would be motivation to believe that there's a God.
itself
Yeah,
is
I heard
evidence.
you. Existence itself is, yeah, I heard that. But presumably we're not, of course, that would not include the existence of God there, right? So if things that
No,
were
that's
to
not
exist,
including. No,
yeah, that wouldn't be
no,
including God.
that's
Yeah,
not including God. No, that's
yeah, I
not
know.
including God.
That's, yeah, that's what I said. It's not including
Yeah,
God. Okay.
right.
So,
But
okay.
we're not talking
Okay, look,
about
if things
the
exist,
beginning
why would I
of
think,
God, right?
sorry?
I'm sorry. You can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, suppose things exist, which we do. We have a background of facts that a number of entities exist. Why then would that be reason I think there's a God?
Well, if you just mean like as our physical beings, as a physical being, we had to have a beginning. Those organisms, we are organisms. They have to have a structure, put together in a way can't anybody do or no physical being can do by itself. Or you can't make yourself and then become a whole race of whatever, even if you say aliens
Okay, well,
or
there's kind of
the human
confusion
race,
going on
you
there.
can't.
So,
Could
sure, I
could
can
you
agree
so
that,
could you say you created yourself, like you literally
no, but look,
You
there's some
you could
confusion
say
were
going
that.
on
not
there.
and then you were. It's not possible,
No,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
sure, whatever.
how
But
did
look,
how
you're kind
did
of confused on this point. Look, let's suppose that our anatomy is developed, right? And so there's going to be a thing that explains our anatomy, but there's kind of a confusion going on there because suppose that every biological organism is explained by something prior. When we say
but it is though.
things that
But it is. It all goes back down to the smallest
no,
cell.
no
So
one's
how is
disagreeing with
that's
anything. Hold
still
on,
created?
just hold on for a
There's
moment. Yeah,
still there's
just
still
just
a
hold on.
prior.
Just yes, hold on
Okay,
for a
I'm sorry.
moment. Just let me finish
I got
speaking. Jesus. Okay, so suppose yes, our anatomy is biologically explained by things prior. What we're not getting to is that the existence of things require an explanation by God, right? Look, even where it's true that for any given human, there's some prior human that explains its existence. There's kind
Or
of
any
a
being
different
for that
sense.
matter. It
Yeah,
could
yeah,
be
whatever.
aliens, just like I was bringing up.
Well, not any being because that's not principally true for God, but
Any physical being, any physical
yeah,
being.
sure, any physical being. Okay, yeah. So what's unclear is you believe that the molecules that are recycled that compose new human beings, that those things at one point were introduced into existence, right?
They had to. Where'd they come from?
Okay, why would I think that?
Why wouldn't you? Where did they come from?
Well, no. That's okay. Suppose I don't have. Well, look, I'm not making the claim I shouldn't believe in it. So when you ask, well, why shouldn't you? I never made the claim I should, but
That's
you did
why.
affirm.
That's why I
Well, no,
just answered your question.
no, that's not how that works. Look, if I ask
Yeah.
you, no, yeah, if I ask you right now, do you believe LeBron James is sitting or standing right now? If I ask you, do you believe he's standing right now? And I say, no, I don't believe he's standing up right now. And I ask you, that doesn't entail that you believe he's sitting down, right? You can be agnostic, which just means you don't have a belief towards either the negative or positive attitude towards the proposition. You don't have either the negative
Mhm.
attitude or positive attitude towards the proposition. So when I'm not of the belief that I
Right.
shouldn't believe, that doesn't entail that I should believe that this thing was explained by God. I can be agnostic. Now, when you affirm the claim I should believe that God explains the existence of these atomic particles, and I ask why, when you ask, well, why shouldn't you? First, I never affirmed I shouldn't, but also that's just shifting the question back at me, right? Your burden
Well,
to answer the question. Don't.
I thought that's what the whole question was. How you were asking
Okay,
it
so let's just try one more time without.
entails the
Well, let's
answer I
just
just
try one
gave
more.
you. Why shouldn't you?
No,
And
let's just
what you just
try.
said
Well,
was, well,
okay. Well, let's
I
just.
never
Well,
didn't
oh my
agree with
God.
it. So
Okay, let's just try one more time without dodging the question. Why should I believe that the existence of things like molecules had entered existence? Why think that?
because there is no other physical being there to create it. Who was there to put it there?
But why think that they were
What are
created?
you talking about? Yeah, why think that the molecules that exist are
Okay.
created?
Okay. Well, show me a molecule or a cell that just comes from nothing.
I never made the claim. Suppose I don't have an
Well,
example
you're
of that.
asking me to tell you why.
Well,
Hold
You
yeah,
on.
but
want
you're
me to
You're
tell
pointing
doing
you?
a
stuff
lot
and
of
Hold on.
you're
saying
doing a
it's
lot of
Let
created.
me
talking.
speak. Let me speak. Let me speak.
No, actually, I'm trying to speak. You gotta understand that dude, you're hogging the mic. Okay, look. Suppose I don't have an answer. That doesn't offer reasons for me to think because I don't have an instance of this that not this is true. You're muted. You can unmute yourself.
Yeah, it's like I think we all came from like rainbow unicorns. And I ask, well, why don't you believe that? Like, where do you think we all came from? If he doesn't have an answer, it doesn't mean that rainbow unicorns is a good answer.
Does she know she's muted? You got to press the unmute button. The bottom of the live, the mic icon.
So, if it was created, if it's here,
But why think it's created?
from why do I think it was created?
Yeah, why think the molecules that compose the world and organisms are created?
Yeah, what is it about an atom that makes you think, oh, this had to have been created by a designer?
Let's see. Can humans create them now? Can they create them now?
Well, no, you're supposed to be offering a
Are they
reason,
able to
not
create them
asking.
now?
Okay, well, I'm talking. Okay, I don't know why you just overtalked me and repeated the question when I was trying to put an input. You're kind of
Because
like,
as far advanced as we are in science and technology, and they haven't
you're
really
like, you know, you're like conversationally inept, right?
Look, I mean,
But like, that's
we're not
besides the
saying that
point.
I'm not,
humans
because why do
created.
you're saying
No,
why do I
you
think
clearly
why do
don't
I
know.
think
You clearly
they
don't
were
know.
created? Why do I think they were
Yeah,
created?
you're great at over talking. Okay, so why think that they're created? What was the answer to that?
It exists.
Okay, we understand that they exist. What you're claiming
We
is that
agree.
if they exist, they have a creator. That's what we're asking for a reason to believe, not the antecedent that they exist. No one's denying molecules exist. You're saying if they exist, then they must be created. We're asking why think if they exist, they must be created.
I have not
And
seen with my own eyes those things being created. So that's why I believe that they were created.
So
you haven't
because you
seen them
never
That's a
created.
great
what?
answer.
Wait,
That's a
if you
great
never
answer.
saw,
That's a
if
great
you
I
never
answer.
think
saw,
I think she
Because
misspoke.
okay,
that's a
this
great
isn't
answer.
Family Feud. When you say a shit answer, you say it's a
That's
great
a great
answer.
answer. That's a
Yeah, we don't
great
need
answer.
your
I mean,
commentary on your
what
answer,
are you
anyways. Look,
looking for? Because you
okay,
don't like
okay,
it.
okay. Jesus. Okay, let's just calm down. I don't know if you drunk a Red Bull before this or what, but
No,
you're like
I'm
extremely hyper and over
calm.
talking.
Every
You're
time
not
I talk,
calm.
you keep telling me to stop talking. You're talking over me.
Because you
And
no,
I
you're.
start
That's
answering, and then
why
y'all are like, "Oh, you're
you're.
talking over." It's you don't even
Look,
let me
I
finish
don't.
talking.
Okay, I don't want to continue to want to mute you, but it seems like more and more you keep pushing it to where that's going to be essential for the productivity of this dialectic. Now, I don't want to resort to constantly muting you when I'm.
That's
You're doing it right. You're doing it right. You're interrupting.
that's not even what I'm
You're.
saying. That's
Do
not
you
even what
see
I'm
how you're
saying.
doing it? Do you see how
That's
you're
not
doing
even
it
what
right
I'm
now?
saying.
Okay,
That's not
now
even.
I
That's
think
not.
I
That's
might.
no.
Here, now I'm muting you. Now I hope I don't have to consecutively need to do this. Okay? Okay. So where we're at is we're trying to understand why I believe that if molecules exist, they have to be created. You said because they exist. Well, no, it's not logically entailed from it existing that they were created. I could have the belief that they exist and are uncreated. Okay, so why believe that if molecules exist, that they're created? What's the answer to that?
And don't say because humans couldn't create it.
No, they have
Yeah, please.
have to have a structure. All of these things have a structure. They have to
Okay,
be put
molecules have
together
structure.
in a structure. These things are materials put together. Things don't just
Why
come
would I think
together on
that they're
their
put?
own. They don't come
Why?
together on their own. They don't just come together on their own.
Okay,
It's a structure.
Okay, well
It's a
let's.
structure.
Okay, well we can agree there's a structure. I'm not clear why I would think that a structure cannot be put. I don't know what put together by its own even means. But if you're saying unintentionally, the universe was there's some forces of the universe, some dispositions of the universe, or forces that causally explain how these particles are arranged unintentionally. Of course, that's possible, and in science, that's actually extremely plausible. But independent of that, okay, let's say they're structures. Do you think the existence of the molecules, though? Look, what we're not saying is we have a pile of Play-Doh and then I'm taking the Play-Doh and making a deluxe mansion. What you're saying is you think the Play-Doh entered existence, so there's one point where there's a vacuum. There's no
What
Play-Doh.
I'm saying is exactly what you said at first. The Play-Doh was molded by
Wait,
someone.
wait.
That's
Okay,
exactly
we're
what I
not
said
talking.
at
Wait.
first.
Okay.
Don't
Well.
twist
Okay.
my
Well.
words.
Sure. Maybe. Okay. I'm not. Shut the fuck up for a moment. Okay. Suppose that you do believe that the matter that composes the world
I
or
never
whatever
told you what I believe. I
was.
just said that
Shut
there's
the
evidence
fuck up
that they
for a
exist.
moment. Okay. The point
hmm
is that you're still of the belief. I don't know what you're denying there. Yes, you are of the belief that the configuration of the world was sculpted by God. Why you? What are you denying? Do you disagree now?
I never
Yes, you believe
denied
that.
it. All
You.
I said was there's your evidence right there. The existence. Existence itself is your
That's
evidence.
okay. Yeah. That's what's been in question for the past 10 minutes, babe. So let's
Yeah.
It's
try
not in
this again.
question. It's not in
She's saying
question.
structure implies a
Sorry.
creator. How does structure
Look,
imply a creator?
yes, it's in question. Right now we're asking why think. Look, you're saying that if molecules exist, then they must have been created. We asked why as the skeptics. Yes, it's in question that if molecules exist, that they must be created. Yes, that's been presented to be in question for that. Where is your brain at? Where are you, what are you listening to? Okay,
I
look.
don't know. I'm
So we
trying to
can
see what
agree that the
you keep
natural
coming up with
world,
questions that are
the natural world's configuration was made. You
question.
believe that the mind of God intentfully configured the world such that we have our current cosmology. That's fine. Well, right now we're not talking about the configuration of existing molecules. We're talking about you are of the belief that the molecules that currently exist were manifested into existence by a God. So when asked why believe that, you're just saying that the configuration of the cosmology structure was you believe was done by a mind. Okay, we're We're talking about why believe the elements that configure the world were even came into existence. You're just not tracking. Okay, so we have some set of elements, right, molecules. Why think those entered existence?
Okay, that's two different questions. Why do I think they came into
Yeah, it's been the
existence,
same question
or
we've been
were they
asking.
created by
Look, let's just
a
try this
higher
again. Let's go
being or
step by
higher
step.
power? That's
Do
two
you
different
believe that the
questions.
you're super lost? Don't worry, I'll walk you through it like a kindergartner.
I'm not lost
Okay,
at
so
all.
yeah, you're crazy lost. So step one,
Okay.
we're gonna get clear. You are of the belief that molecules came into existence, correct?
I believe there's a God.
That's not what I
And
asked
we were
you.
created. I don't care. I
Look,
answered
God
if I
you.
magically poofed the Play-Doh, right?
I
hold on,
believe
we
there's
gotta.
a God.
You can stick with
He
Play-Doh.
divinely
Okay,
created
but
everything
what I
you
asked
see
you,
and hear,
what I
everything that's
what
around
I
you,
what
everything that's around you. He created. Yes, I believe that. Next question.
Okay, so let's try this again, and we're just going to do this so you can maybe learn how to properly answer questions. Okay, so when asked,
Okay.
you believe that the molecules that compose the world came into existence, what you answer is not God. You don't say, I believe in God. That's like saying, I
Are you
believe
gonna tell me
cheesecake
how to
tastes good.
answer?
I'm going to tell
Because
you
if
how to
that you don't
answer.
like my answer,
I'm going to tell you how you're going to answer because the question is binary. When I ask, do you believe that the existence of molecules came into existence? You say, yes, I believe that, or no, I believe that. Saying, I believe some other proposition, being God exists, is not informative. Just like if I asked you, do you think the molecules that exist came into existence? And you say, yes, I like cheesecake. That's not what I asked you. You say,
that's
yes,
not what
I
I
believe that
said.
molecules that
I
exist came into
said
existence,
yes,
or no, that the molecules that exist
yes,
came into existence. Okay, so let's try
yes.
this
They came
again.
into existence. But you
Yes,
asked me why do I believe that they
yes.
came into
Oh,
existence? Not
okay.
am I
Hold on. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna ask you one more time for the sake of linearity. Yes or no, do you believe the matter and molecules that exist came into existence? Now try and answer that the way I phrased the question. Don't say, yes, I believe in God. Yeah, we knew from the outset you believed in God. Saying I believe in God doesn't answer the question of if you believe the molecules that exist came into existence. Okay, so unmute again. It's at the bottom of your screen. It's the mic button. Say
What's your
yes or
question?
no. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna
Just
need to
ask
repeat
it.
the question for the fifth time. Okay.
Ask
Do you
it.
believe that I'm asking it? Do you believe the molecules that exist came into existence, yes or no?
Yes.
It's a hard one, right? Yes. You got a gold star. You were able to answer the same question we've been asking for ages. It was that
Okay.
easy.
So
Okay.
next question.
Okay. Step two. Step two. Oh, well, don't let go of my hand, right? Remember, you're a kindergartner who is kind of, their faculties are still underdeveloped, right? So hold your teacher's hand. Okay. So
Yes,
step
sir.
two. Hi, calm down. Okay, step two high is that, okay, so you do believe that the molecules that came into exist, or the molecules that exist came into existence. Okay, step two is, why think that? Thanks for the heart. So what's the answer, high?
They're made up of structures of materials. Those
Mm-hmm.
materials came together by what force, what power, what something brought those materials together to form their
No,
structure.
okay. So again, hi. We had to walk this back. So when you talk
That
about
that
a rate,
I mean,
whoa, I'm speaking.
that's
Look,
why
I have the talking
I
stick. I have the
think.
talking pencil. I have the talking pencil. All right. When I put it down, it's your turn to speak. All right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't cut you off when you were. Okay. Okay.
I got you. I got you.
I gotta hold it up to just because you might be lost. And okay. So I'm asking. What we're not talking about is what explains the configuration of the molecules and matter structure. We're talking about what explains, because you are of the belief that existence of the molecules are explained, not that their structure is explained.
So
I
what's
can
your
believe their
question?
structure. I
What's your
can believe the
question?
matter. Sorry, I'm still talking stick. I can believe that the structure of the matter is explained, but the matter never came into existence. You are of the belief it came into existence. So it's not a matter of configuration or orientation or structure, right? It's not a question of the organization of certain elements that compose these atomic particles. What we're talking about is why believe the particles came into existence.
You're sitting here right now, talking on this live right now. You're here.
Yeah, that's not reason to think that the molecules came into existence. I can believe I'm right here and the
Okay.
molecules
All
never came
right.
into existence, quite
All right.
trivially.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so why believe the molecules came into existence?
If they had not, we would not be here right now.
Okay, and why think that?
We're made of molecules. We're organisms.
No,
Period.
Okay, we agree. Well, that's not going to be informative, right? Because that's something we
That's
can
very
agree on, even if
informative.
we
It's
denied.
very informative. It's very
You know,
informative.
well,
You just
do
asked,
you know?
why do I believe they came
No.
into existence when
So
we're
you understand
actually
saying it's informative doesn't make it
organisms in
informative.
itself? And how else am I supposed to answer that? I mean, it's kind
Okay,
of
do you want me to explain how what you
self-explanatory.
said? Do you want me to explain how what you said is so fucking not informative that you have to have 80 IQ to think? Here, let me explain. I asked why I believe the molecules came into existence, and you said because you're sitting right
Okay,
now
so how do you, how
composed
do
of
you think
molecules.
how do you
I'm
think I
still
should explain that then?
talking
How do you
stick,
think I should
talking
explain
stick,
it?
talking
Because
stick, talking stick, talking stick, talking stick, talking stick. Look,
oh
what I
my
don't want to
god,
do is hold you on a leash like a dog, constantly muting you. I'm trying to be very, very charitable with you, and
you don't have
you
to.
can't help yourself. You have like something crawling
No,
inside
but
you,
no, but
infested
no,
in you,
no, but
scratching
no,
to
but
have
that's
your
what you
voice
are
be
actually
heard
making
while I'm
making
in
me
the middle of my
upset. So it's
sentence,
making
like
me
you're
upset.
doing right now.
It's
Wow,
making me
you're great at
upset.
that. Look,
It's
this is
making
not
me
going
upset.
anywhere. You're too fucking unbearable to have this conversation with. Next person. All right, Flencer, I'm gonna go get some food. You can talk with this guy. Hopefully they're not as bad as the last one. So, good luck, buddy. Here, I'm gonna turn my camera down. Are you there, Flencer? Can you
Yeah,
talk or no?
yeah.
No, not you, Flencer.
Oh,
Okay, I don't think Flencer's here, so I'm gonna just
yeah.
wait
I was
until
just gonna
he's able
say
to
that.
unmute.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
People make elements all the time. Like the last known natural element, yeah, I think is iron.
Well, that's different chemical compounds. What was being argued in the last conversation is whether the fundamental particles that compose the universe, that those came into existence. You can believe you can create new chemical compounds by newly configuring certain fundamental particles.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
different from saying the particles themselves entered existence. But look, which year do you want to talk about from these two?
oh, yeah. I just agreed. I just wanted to talk to her, see why she believed what she did.
I don't know if I could bring her back up. She doesn't know how to actually have conversations. But
Yeah,
yeah. But if that's
yeah,
all, I'm
because
gonna move to my next guest.
yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm gonna drop you. By the way, everyone here, subscribe to my YouTube if you want to see good debate content. Check out my YouTube. And continue to tap the screen so we could get more people, especially more interesting ones. I don't think Flencer's here right now.
Yo,
Yeah, what's up? Which year you want to talk about?
I mean, if you're an atheist, like, what do you believe in? Like,
Well, if I'm an atheist, then I believe a God doesn't exist.
you said what?
If I'm an atheist, I believe a God doesn't exist.
Yeah, but like,
No, you don't believe science. Science isn't even a proposition, Sarah. And no, I don't study science at all. And people who think science disproves God are highly confused people. But look, okay, so yeah, I answered that question. Continue.
so you just don't believe there's a God. So, like, how did we come about? Like, evolution? Like, the
How did we,
chances,
by we, what is we referring to?
humans, animals, everything.
How did
This,
biological organisms
no, like,
form, is what you're
how did
asking?
this whole universe of, like, all of our planets around us, the sun's in the perfect place, the moon's
Okay,
in
well,
the
those are two
perfect
different
place.
questions, you understand, right?
I think it's all one because, I mean, if you have a
No, initially
perfect,
you
no,
said
if you have a,
how did we get here? And when asked what you mean by we, you just said biological organisms. So I'm presuming when you say how did we come here, you're talking about how did organisms come to Earth, which is some type of
not come to Earth,
abiogenesis question.
not
Yeah,
come to
but you
Earth,
can
like,
by come to Earth, you can still interpret that as form on Earth, right? So all you're asking there is an abiogenic question, some type of
okay,
abiogenesis question. And the second question was a question of cosmological configuration. Those are entirely two different questions. You can have an
how is
answer
it, all
to
right, let me,
because
go
you can
ahead.
have a cosmological answer and you can have and you can just lack a biological answer. It's possible you have an answer to how the cosmology configured and not an answer to how life formed. Clearly, those are not the same. Those aren't even the same field of science. Okay, yeah, you're lagging.
I mean, that is something that, yeah, atheist,
Yeah,
my
those are
bad.
completely different questions. But look,
You can hear me
so
right
you're
now or
asking.
not?
Let's start with the first. Yeah, I can hear you. Let's start with the first question. You're asking me how life formed, or
Like, if I'm saying, like, I
or
believe that, God created it. God created, like, the universe on how it was supposed to be so we could sustain living here. If it
okay,
was,
look,
like, somewhere like
right now we're
Venus, it's not
on.
in the
I
right
think you're kind
place.
of
It's,
okay. Where we're at in the conversation is you asked me a question. I'm just trying to clarify what the question is asking. You said, "How did we get here?" That's what you asked at first. And by we get here, by we, you just mean biological
I was
organisms.
just asking you,
So
like,
I'm trying to
personally.
understand is what yeah, I'm trying to understand what you're asking me personally. I don't know the question. Jesus. Okay, so is what you're asking my personal belief about how life formed?
Yeah, like, how did we get here?
Okay, I don't believe life formed.
What do you mean? So what happened?
I'm not clear what you're asking.
Like,
What happened?
how, not
What?
formed, just how, like, bro, like, why can't you answer the question?
Did I not answer by
Because you
saying
know what I'm,
I'm
you
not
know
of
what
the belief?
I'm questioning you.
But I did answer. Okay, to
That
repeat the answer,
we didn't form.
I'm not
That we
of.
don't form.
Yeah, I don't believe life formed.
Yeah, but all right, so we appeared.
What does that? I don't know what that's saying.
We appeared, like we just magically appeared out of nowhere. We didn't form out of something, so we had to appear, right?
No, that means we didn't come into existence. Life never formed. Poofing into existence would be.
That's
Look,
your
I don't.
story.
That's just the most stupidest interpretation. If what I mean by life didn't form is that I believe we magically poofed, no, I think life never was brought about. There was always life. That's an interpretation that would be more accurate. But no, I'm not of the belief that life always existed. I'm agnostic on the matter. I could believe in a view called evolutionary eternalism, which is the view that life never formed. There was just always life.
Okay, so if there was always life, could life live in a place without like a sustainable environment?
The sustainability is just going to be relative to the biological facts of the organisms and the environmental facts in tandem.
There's like you would say on Venus there might be organisms there.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be, yeah. In fact, we think that there are like biosignatures
But
in
then
the
how,
upper
like,
atmosphere.
how is there none on Mars?
What does that
But
matter?
look,
Wouldn't it be more amazing
Because
if
it
there was
doesn't
life
matter.
on
It has to be
Mercury?
the perfect environment for life.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. But wouldn't it be more miraculous if there were life in a place where it couldn't be explained by natural phenomenon? Like that would be a miracle. I would be
There's
evidence
no
of something
evidence of that
miraculous, right?
anyway.
If we could live
try-
on the sun, that would
Where's
be
the
pretty
evidence?
amazing.
But look, hold on. Look, the best way to navigate this is to sidestep the point of these irrelevant questions, because you understand atheism is not some thesis aiming to explain how life formed. What you're doing when you say you're a theist is that you're inputting God to explain the data. Atheism isn't something that raises any answer or aims to answer that question. So
Okay.
so you're asking something that's like asking some like, okay, well, you're a physicist. Can you answer me like what is the best painter? Like what? Like,
I mean,
I don't know what the hell you're doing.
personal
Okay,
beliefs, just like everybody.
let's suppose I have no answers relating to the field of biology or anything of the sciences. Why then should I think that God exists?
Like, so like the Big Bang, like what, is that how you're saying we came about? Like
No, he's
like
saying,
you're saying it was always here, but how was it always here? Like
claim.
what do you mean?
Look, you don't even know what the
Atheism
Big Bang
isn't
is, to
committed
be
knowing
honest.
where we came
Let's
from.
I do.
wait. Look, no, you don't. But suppose the Big Bang is wrong. Okay, why then would I think that God exists?
Because
By the way,
how
most
does nothing
academic
come from something?
most academic theists in philosophy of religion believe in the Big Bang. Just to be clear, so philosopher theists, apologists, people who actually
It
know
could.
yeah, it's not inconsistent with God. I don't know what inputting the Big Bang in a conversation about God does at all.
Because
think-
like you're saying it was
That's
already
like
here
saying
all along.
because dogs exist, I believe God doesn't exist.
You're saying it was here all along, but like it just like magically appeared. Like it was here all
What
along.
magically appeared?
life, or
If
whatever.
it always existed, how would it magically appear? If it magically appeared,
What?
that means there's an instance. Look how stupid you sound. If it
You
magically
sound stupid,
appeared,
bro.
what did I say that was stupid?
Because you're saying it was already here, like. But
I
then
never made that
nothing
claim. So
created
that's
it. No
one made
nothing
that
created
claim.
it.
No one made that claim. So to say I'm stupid for a claim I never made is just now going to be projecting.
You just said
No, I've already told you I never made that commitment. You're just not tracking.
agnostic.
So now you're saying I'm stupid for a commitment I don't hold. That's hilarious. Now to say why you're being stupid is because you asked me a question of, you literally said verbatim, if we always existed, then do you think we just poofed here? By poofed here, you mean there's an instance prior when we didn't exist and an instance later where we just spawned into existence? That would just logically contradict your last statement of
Not
we always
but
existed
just
here.
life. But you saying?
Look, did you just hear what I said?
Yes, I
If
did.
we poofed here, that assumes that logically prior to our existence, we didn't exist, right? In order to poof in, there has to be an instance where we don't exist, and in unexplained, we come into existence. We just happen to be in existence. If we always exist, there's not going to be a prior moment where we don't exist.
Okay,
So the contradiction you made is that at one point I don't exist, and I'm under, or it's entailed from the view, one point I don't exist, under the view I always exist. Do you see how that's stupid? That's clearly logically contradictory. So of course I'm going to say, when you say something contradictory, that's stupid. And when you falsely do an analysis of my commitments and ascribe me commitments that I clearly said I'm not committed to, you're stupid. You double down on your stupidity.
All right. You
said I'm stupid by making a commitment. I
don't really care what you
I iterated myself, clearly saying that's a view I don't hold, and saying that I have that view. And then you said I'm committed to the view that at one point I came into existence if I always existed. No, if I always existed, there's no instance in time in which I enter existence if there's not an instance prior where I don't.
Then tell me what
so
you
double
believe.
down on your stupidity. Okay, now let's go back to the question of why I believe God exists.
Okay, and your whole question about there's no good reason, but all right,
that's not a question.
Us humans just made up what's good and bad. We made up what's good and bad.
That's not even a question.
That's not a question, but it's just a like, how is there good and bad without, like, where does our morality come from?
Good and bad is not moral here. There's other normative domains, axiological domains that have normativity that aren't morality. When I say
So
pizza tastes good, is that a moral statement? No, dumb fuck, it's not.
okay, but if somebody
Okay,
kills
great
your
job.
mom,
The
that would be
type of
bad, would it not?
normativity. Okay, great. Yeah, I would think that's morally wrong. We're
Then
not talking
how
about.
the fuck are you atheist?
We're not talking because first, atheism doesn't touch on any particular meta ethics. So or even anything about ethics at all. Atheism isn't the type of thesis that comments on ethics. You can have any ethical view and be an atheist. What are you talking about? Atheism
Because
isn't a
there's no
subject.
good and
Do you
bad
think
without a
atheism? Do you
fucking
think
God.
atheism? Well, that's just a claim that is just widely discarded by actual ethicists. This is not a claim ethicists would take serious, and I doubt you've read any ethical literature in your entire life to make this
You're right,
claim.
I haven't. It's just
Okay,
purely
great.
logical
So that's
that there are
really like.
cultures that don't know God, that do
How about
immoral
this?
things to us.
How about this?
They go to war, they
Yeah.
love war.
I'm gonna mute you real quick. Here's a nice suggestion. How about you go on Phil Paper's survey and look at the survey, the empirical survey, on the number of ethicists that are atheists. It's so shallow, the number of theists that are ethicists. There's barely any people in academic moral philosophy that are even believers in God. So to say the most people who prominently input to the field of ethics can only be had if they believe in God, while empirically almost none of them are actually people who believe in God, is hilarious. Are you saying that all the actual people at PhDs in ethics are confused people because they don't believe in God?
Yes.
Okay, great. that's hilarious. Okay, fine. You make yourself triple down on your stupidity.
I
That's
don't
fine.
know that there are
Okay,
just some things
okay.
that they
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
ever
yeah. That's fine.
understand.
You triple down on your stupidity. That's fine.
I'll admit there's things that I will never
The
know.
people who have PhDs in the field, they have doctorates and they've wrote thousands of pages in dissertations
Doesn't
to
mean it's a
actually
fact.
evaluate what's not a fact. It's a
What
fact that they know more
say, what
about
their
ethics
papers
than
say, doesn't mean
you.
it's a fact.
It means they know more than you. They can
More
actually
than
argue on a
me
subject they're cognizant of. Yeah, they know more than you. They're academics in the field.
doesn't. So everything they say is
It's
a
like, look,
fact.
it's like saying you can't have mathematics without God, and then I showed you empirical research that 90% of mathematicians are atheists, and you're saying, well, that just means they don't actually know mathematics, because it's
No,
obvious that you have to believe
never
in
said
God
that.
to have. I'm not dumb fuck. I never said you said that. I'm mirroring what you're doing. You're saying that all of their research and all their knowledge is wrong because you said it's precluded of having ethics that you believe in God. You said if you're an
Well,
atheist, you don't have ethics.
do they ever come to the conclusion of how we came
Can
about?
you look at what I'm saying? What you said is it's precluded of being an ethicist that you don't believe in God, which is like you said, because you said that if you're an atheist, you don't have ethics. You said that's entailed. That's like saying if you don't believe in God, you don't have mathematics, and that the people who are mathematicians with PhDs, if majority of them are atheists, all of those people are confused because having mathematics presupposes God. You said you can't. That's like saying you can't have math without God, while
We just
90% of
found
mathematicians are atheists.
we've
Yeah,
just
I'm gonna call
gotten
you
so much
silly.
knowledge over all the
Everyone's gonna think
years.
you're silly. Everyone's gonna think you're silly, but that's besides the point. Okay. Just to go back to what's relevant. No, we're not talking about ethical good here, right? By
I'm
good
just
here, I don't
saying
mean
there can't be a
ethics.
good or bad without God.
Okay,
Doesn't
and
make
that's a claim
sense.
I'm presuming. And do you have an argument for that?
I kind of do. I mean,
Oh, sure. What's the argument?
okay, hold on.
So first, let's get good. Sorry, let's get clear what you mean by good.
Good is just, I mean, good could be, what's good for some people is bad for some people. What's
What do you
bad is
mean by
good for some
good?
people. But
I'm asking you what you mean by good.
I mean, what's in the Bible is good. The
I'm not
commandments.
asking you. Look, you're ascribing the Bible's commandments of good. That's not what I'm asking you. I'm not saying does the commandments of the Bible have the property of being good. I'm asking you what you mean by the word good. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Good
You
is
don't know
what I mean,
anything
like
about ethics.
morally. Like if I
Yeah, we
kill
understand we're
someone,
talking
is
about
that good or
moral
bad?
good. Okay, you're so lost. I don't know
I'm
what you
not
think you're
talking
doing.
about like pizza's good, it tastes good. No, I'm talking about
Yeah,
morality good.
I know. I'm very clear we're talking about ethical good, moral good. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking what you mean by good.
What do you mean? What do I mean by good?
Oh my God, this is the funniest shit ever. I'm asking you a rudimentary meta-ethical question of what you mean by good, right? You can't have meta-ethical discourse or any ethical discourse without having a meta-ethics. And
What
meta-ethics
might be
aims
good
to
for me is
define
not good for you. So how could I
meta-ethics.
say what's good for
No,
everyone?
you're confused. We're not talking about what is good. We're not talking about ascribing things good. We're talking about the semantics of good. This is meta-ethics. This is the most fundamental step in having ethical discourse. And you have no clue what I'm asking you. When you
Okay,
use the word good, look, hold on for a moment. What I'm not asking you is what is good, right? It's like me asking you what you mean by red, and you say this ball is red. I'm not asking you what things are red. I'm asking you what you mean by red. Do you understand the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, the latter scenario is ascribing objects with the property of being red. The first is asking for the semantics about red. Yeah, right now, in order to have an ethical dispute about your theological ethics, we have to disclose the meta-ethics, and you obviously don't know what the fuck I'm asking. When I ask you what you mean by good, You're saying, oh, what the Bible is saying is good. I'm not asking you what is good, what things are good. I'm asking you what the word good means. Can you answer that? And if not, we're just going to move past this point, because this just shows, just to be clear, ethics is actually one of the most rigor pedagogies in all of philosophy. It's actually the most challenging, or one of the most challenging, along with things like philosophy of language and maybe philosophy of politics, you might say. So when we talk about ethics, ethics is easily one of the most nuanced fields. And you're saying that all of the academic philosophers, who are the people who've read all of the almost all of the most fundamental literature and wrote a 10,000-page dissertation to other theists, or sorry, other academic philosophers, and won the qualification of being a doctorate in the field, have no clue what they're talking about. And then I ask you one of the most preliminary questions in ethics, and you don't know what I'm asking, and you think you're not a joke? Dude, you should really stop talking out your ass.
I'm not
But
talking
look,
out of my ass.
let's just move past the ethics thing, because you don't even know what I'm asking you. You don't even know how to define good, right? Let's just get clear, unless I'm wrong. Do you know how to define good?
No one can define good. Only God can define
Okay, fine.
good.
Well, you're just wrong. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you're lost about the meta ethics. We're not even talking about ethics. Let's go back to whether we have good reason to believe God exists. Do you have an argument for the existence of God or not?
Do I have an argument for the existence of God?
Yeah, I said it I think I iterated myself clearly. Yeah, it's a hard question, isn't it?
It's not hard for me. I just don't know.
Okay, so then answer yes or no. Yes or no. Just introspect. Yes, I have an argument. No, I don't. Are you thinking of which argument to use? You can say yes, and then you can take time to think of what argument you want to employ in the conversation.
I think about what argument.
Okay, yes or no, do you have an argument?
Brain, bro?
I'm just asking you if you have any. It's either yes, I have any, or no, I don't.
Nah, bro. I'll just move on.
Okay.
Move on, bro.
Yeah, have a nice one. You're a complete ass. Maybe read a book. Dude, that was the most... All the ethicists who are atheists are wrong about what they write about, and then he didn't even... You have playback. Yeah, you gotta fix that. Okay, you can reconnect. Yeah, what's up, Jack?
What's up?
What do you thought about that last guy? He was pretty
No,
funny.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, well. All right, what's up? I'm gonna just call you Prayer. What's up, Prayer? Which year you want to talk about?
You said, what is it that I want to talk about? Why don't you ever believe in God?
Because I don't have reasons to believe in God.
Like, I'm asking, like, what made you, like, just say, forget it, I don't believe in God? Like, what made,
It wasn't forget it, I don't believe in God. It's not like I discarded God. I did nuanced investigation and realized that I'm irrational for believing in God.
So how do you think everything came about? The universe, you, everything?
I don't believe the universe came about. I don't think life came about either.
So how do you think you got here?
When you say, I want to kind of hone in on what you might mean there. Presumably, you're not asking a question of how I'm in this particular geography, this location, right? You're not asking, well, how am I in my house designated in New Jersey? You're asking something else, right?
I'm asking you, as a person,
how did I get here? What does that mean?
As a person, how do you think from generation to generation, from the beginning, that humanity of mankind?
So generationally, I think I got here by a biological process.
No, not you generate. I'm talking about through mankind. How do you think mankind got here?
What does mankind got here mean?
How did mankind begin life? Like, where did it begin?
I'm not sure if mankind even began life.
So you think mankind always existed?
No, that's not entailed.
I'm
agnostic. Yeah, no. The answer is no.
So you don't think
that wasn't you said so then, which is a clause for entailment. So that's why I said no. That's not entailed.
How do you think mankind got here? You as a human, me as a human, everybody around you as a human. How do you think how do you think that we got here?
Yeah, I just answered that, but for the past point, for clarity.
But the thing is,
why I interpret it?
Like, let's say we didn't have a hypothesis about that. The question is, why would we? You
can't answer the question. You didn't answer. I haven't yet got an answer.
Yeah.
How do you think we got here?
No, I don't think you're understanding what you're not appreciating what he's saying. He's saying, suppose we don't have an answer. How does that follow? Then I ought believe in God.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you didn't believe, there has to be a reason for you being here. That's what I'm asking, so I can begin my argument, so I can get a perspective on what you believe.
That's just a claim that I find contentious that we can talk about right now.
I'm not making a claim. I'm asking you a question so I can get a perspective on what you believe.
No, to be clear, just to navigate what you said, which was clearly a claim, it must be the case that there's a reason why we're here. That's a claim. Now, it could be true there isn't a reason why we're here. So, of course, that claim is what I'm saying I find contentious.
I mean, that evidence is life to that claim. If you want the evidence to that claim, it's life. You being here is proof that you have.
No, it's compatible. No, because that's clearly compatible that we exist here and we didn't come from anywhere.
What? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so just conceptualize a world in which humans exist and humans always existed. That world is a world in which there's not a reason for why there's humans and humans exist.
There cannot
Is
be
that
an end.
very hard to conceive of?
Humans cannot always exist if there's an end to their time.
Okay, why can't there? Well, no, it's not. There's nothing logical. Sorry, there's nothing that logically precludes having no beginning but an end. That doesn't follow.
So if there's no beginning, how is there an end?
Because it's logically possible there's something with a beginning, no end.
That
Look,
makes no
just like
logical
you
sense.
think.
Actually, you're making a
Okay,
logical fallacy.
when you
Because
say
if there's
what
no
fallacy?
beginning, every science, not even scientists, everybody in the world logically knows that if there
Yeah,
is
just name the fallacy I'm making.
that there's that there could be an end with no beginning.
What fallacy am I naming?
The end with
This
no
is true.
beginning. That there's no
An
beginning.
end with no beginning
That
is
there's no
actually
beginning. That's the
something.
fallacy. That there's no beginning.
Yes, that's
You're
not
making
a
a claim
fallacy
that
name.
there's an end with no beginning.
That's not a fallacy name.
But it
There's
doesn't
no
make logical sense.
fallacy. There's no fallacy of the form I asserted. There's something with no beginning but an end. That's not a fallacy. That's
Logically,
bullshit.
yes,
That's
logically that does
look.
not
We
make
can
sense.
call that the bullshit fallacy. And when you say it makes no logical sense, are you understanding that to mean there's a contradiction entailed from the commitment?
What do you mean?
That was okay. Look, from the view that there's something with no beginning and an end. Do you think that commitment entails a contradiction? Is that what you're saying when you say makes no logical sense? Are you saying it's logically incoherent, which just means there's a contradiction?
It can't be a contradiction if it doesn't make logical sense.
It can't. If what the hell? Wait. So something can be. So okay. So what you mean by
If it doesn't exist,
makes no
how can it
logical
contradict
sense?
each other? That's what
Wait.
I'm
So
saying.
something can.
how-
Wait.
if-
So something can make. Well, hold on. So something can make no logical sense and also not have a contradiction.
I'm saying if it doesn't exist, how can it contradict?
Jesus, you're. Damn, I'm getting like the most low IQ people. Okay. So when you say it makes no logical sense, what are you understanding that to mean?
Okay. Let me ask you this again. Do you believe that there could be
Just
an
answer
end?
that question. Just answer that question. When you say it
Let
makes
me
no
ask-
logical sense, what are you understanding that to mean?
What?
When you say it makes no logical sense, what are you understanding that to mean?
I'm asking you a new question. Do you believe that there
No.
could be
Look, you can. I'll answer your question once you answer mine. Look, I've been asking you this consecutively. We answer questions preliminarily. The question I'm asking you is when you expressed makes no logical sense. I'm trying to understand what that means. So when I ask what does that mean, don't ask me a question and dodge mines. Answer the fucking question. What do you mean by makes no logical sense?
Do you not know
Something's
what logical
unclear
sense?
about
Do you
defining
not
the
know what
word.
logical sense mean?
No, I
You talk
don't.
about
I
low IQ
do
people,
not.
but
I
you're
do
literally
not know
proving
what you
you have the
mean.
lowest IQ of them all if you don't know what logical sense means. You can't comprehend in your simple brain
Wait,
what
what
logical
do you?
sense mean, bro.
You think
Do you know
that
what logical
IQ?
sense? Do you know what logical sense means?
Do you think IQ is tied with definitions of terms? What are you
It's
saying?
not. I never said that. Do you
So
know what?
why
Do you know
why? But you just said me not knowing what the expression makes no logical sense means is showing I have low IQ.
I never said that. I never said that. You're putting words in my mouth. I never said that.
You just said,
I
oh,
never
well,
said that. Never said
clearly
that.
that's what you implied when you said, oh, I don't know what logical sense means and I have low IQ. No, you
I never
must have
said
low
that. I
IQ if you don't
said
know what it
you
means.
claim that
That's what you
have.
said. You
I never
literally
said
said
that. You're putting words in my mouth.
you're
I
lying.
said.
Okay, so then what did you say? Let's
I
just be
said
sure to
you
act
claim
like
that
you're not
you're
bullshitting right now.
You're claiming that you get low IQ people, but you don't know what logical sense mean. That's what I said.
Yeah, there's nothing logically. Yeah, you can have high IQ and not know what that means. IQ is not tied with semantics. Your semantic cognizance or awareness of definitions
Okay, but
isn't
you
tied
still
to your
don't.
IQ,
Okay,
dummy.
okay, but you
Okay,
still
what's the
don't.
point of saying
But
that?
you still don't know what logical. But you still don't. You're still trying to belittle someone, but you don't know what logical sense means.
Sorry,
At
I'm
the end of
speaking.
the day, you
That's
still don't
clearly.
know. At the end of the day, you
Here, let
still
me meet
don't know
you.
what logical
That's
sense
clear.
means.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's clearly a clause that me not knowing what the term means is going to be associated with having low IQ. That's obviously what you fucking meant. Stop trying to hedge what you're saying. Okay, so
You just said that's
obviously,
not what I
not
meant.
knowing definitions, that's obviously what you meant. You could just be dishonest. That's fine. I'm
But
pretty sure no one in this live,
if you're gonna even start a podcast, you should at least.
just shut the fuck up. No one in this live is going to agree with you on
No,
that.
you should know
But sure,
you should know the definition of
that's
something that
fine.
you
That's
believe
fine.
in. Yeah. So once again,
I
you don't know what
believe. What
logical
are you
sense
talking
means.
about? I never
So
use.
how can you
I
not
don't
know
know
what
what you
logical
mean.
sense means if you don't like what? You don't make sense, bro.
I don't know what you mean by
But back to
logical
my
sense.
question. But my
So
okay.
no, back to my question.
No, back to
What do
my
you mean by
question.
logical sense? What do you
Back
mean
to,
by logical sense?
but I asked the question before you even asked that.
No, you didn't.
You still never answered it before you even got to logical questions.
No, I
You that.
asked you. No, look, when I asked you, look, that's just a lie that you asked your question before. That's clearly a lie. I asked you. Look, now you have background noise. Can you fix that? That's clearly I asked you. Look, now you have background noise. Can you fix that?
Okay, do you know what logical?
You got to fix that. Look, just to walk back to dialectic because you're so fucking lost. What happened was we were at the point in which you said it's a logical fallacy. You still have background noise. Mute yourself and fix yourself. Now, I'm not going to bring this guy back up. He's completely brain dead and dishonest on top of that. We have King Von. I heard Dirk slide for you.
Hey, big dog.
Yeah, which here do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about. Well, I heard you earlier talking about you don't think the universe began to exist?
No, I don't.
You do know that's a scientific consensus that the universe began to exist, right?
No, that isn't.
Look it up. ChatGPT it right now.
The Big Bang doesn't talk about the existence of the universe.
Well, no,
the universe coming to existence.
No, but there's evidence of CMB waves, which aren't eternal, that they're finite.
It sort of doesn't really matter, right? like let's
Huh?
say the universe began to exist. Let's just grant that
Yeah.
for the sake of argument, because I know physicists who say
Yeah, but the
that.
scientific consensus is that it began to exist.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not a physicist. Maybe Mason knows more about that than I do. All I can do is tell you what
That's
they
not even
tell
a claim of
me.
physics.
The people who I know, like Dan Linford, right, who's a philosopher of physics, was a professional physicist, say it's just not true that.
Yeah, that's a minority, of course, but the majority, I think,
No, he's
is
not
scientific
saying
consensus.
that. He's saying it's not true that that's sort of what physicists believe. Right?
Yeah, but that's one dude out of the scientific consensus. Is what I'm talking about.
He's denying that that's what the
Of
consensus
course, there's going to
is.
be a minority.
But look,
You
it
can deny
doesn't matter.
reality.
We don't need to debate that. I mean, if you really, really want to, we can try to bring you on to Discord or something, and you can
I'm
talk
gonna
to
be
Dan
back in a minute, by
Linford
the way.
about it. Okay. But point is,
I don't
let's
think there is
just
a debate on that. I mean, there's no debate
Just
if there's a
grant that the
consensus.
universe began to exist now.
let's just grant it.
Okay, can anything begin to exist without a cause?
Why couldn't it?
I don't see the
Because
problem.
nothing can begin to exist without a cause.
What's the argument for that?
Can you give me an example where something can begin to exist without a cause?
It's a question, not an argument.
No, I know, but I think that's pretty apparent.
Let's say I said I have absolutely no example. Then what?
Well, then you can't deny that something can begin to exist without a cause.
Just means I don't have an example.
But then
Like,
you're
let's
going to
say,
be a
look, it's
skeptic
like
for the rest of your life.
Look, I might have never seen like a black swan or something. Let's just like say I have no example. Or how does that get you to saying that everything that
Well, that's
begins to
completely
exist must
different.
have a cause?
Well, that's a completely different category of causality. I'm talking
Okay,
about
so try
causality, not a
to just try
specific
to
object.
convince us that everything that begins to exist must have a cause. Like, why would we believe that?
You don't
We've never
believe
seen
that?
an example. No, I don't.
So give me an example. You can't give an example.
I've
So
already
you have
answered
No,
blind
no,
this
no, no.
question.
Wait, King Von. You understand? An example is evidence of the contrary. We're not affirming that it is true you can have a beginning without a cause. We're merely saying it's logically possible. So we don't have reason to think everything in the actual world that begins to exist requires a cause, because it's logically possible in the actual world that's not true,
Not
and we
gonna
don't have strong
understand
enough
what you're
reason to think
saying.
everything. I don't know. What I'm saying is very, very elementary. So if he doesn't
He's
understand
not
that,
going to understand like what this guy is like a bottom of the barrel. He's not going to understand logical
There's more
possibility
ad
and all this
hominem
stuff.
dude, everyone I've got,
argumentation.
that's not even an ad hom either.
That
But
is an ad hom. You
I
literally
mean,
said on the bottom of a barrel, bro.
Just try
that's
to
not an
look,
ad hom.
That's
That's
an
true.
ad hom, bro. You don't even know what an ad hom is then. That is
King Von,
literally
try to
an ad
make a
hominem
case. Let's grant
argumentation.
it was an ad hom. Let's grant it was an ad hom.
It's
I'm
not.
sorry. Okay. Try to
All
make
right,
a
you
case
guys
for
don't know
your
philosophy.
view.
You
Try to
clearly
make
don't
a
know
case.
philosophy.
One second. Try to make it. Did he leave?
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I clearly don't know philosophy. Nice one. I love how people know the fallacies they name. The other one was when I asked him what's the fallacy that something has no beginning but an end. He said the fallacy is it having a beginning and an end fallacy, or no beginning and an end fallacy.
But I
Then
think
when
yeah,
it's
if that
that
guy wants to come back up, maybe we can try to explain the infinite regress stuff to.
not like you said, he's not worth the time. What's up, GC9? Which year you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I was just wondering, could you explain, like, someone asked this already a few times ago, but could you explain, like, how you exist?
What? Wait,
Suppose I don't have an explanation. What?
Sorry?
Let's say I don't have an explanation. Like what? What does that? Does that relate to the God?
Yeah.
Are we talking? Yeah. So say I have no explanation for our existence. Why then would I believe God exists?
Well, because everything in our space and time has to, like, has a creator, or has, like, has...
And by
something that
creator,
came-
you mean what?
Something it came from.
Well, why would I think that?
Well,
Do you have an argument for that? That everything that's in the universe had something from which it came from prior?
I mean, yourself is an example.
Okay,
Like-
you're naming a thing that does come from somewhere. I'm asking what's the argument? Everything that's in the universe had come from something prior.
Well, could you give me something that doesn't, or hasn't?
Oh my god.
No,
Same
you're supposed to
thing?
be providing an argument for the claim you made. I'm not supposed to do anything. You made the claim that everything in the universe came from something else. In order
I mean,
for you to be justified in that claim, you don't even
Yeah.
need a speaker. All I'm saying is present the justification that you presumably have to maintain the belief rationally.
I mean,
So
it's kind
asking
of
me
hard
the question,
to explain common sense, it's just like everything you see has to come from somewhere.
yeah, but what's the argument for that? That's repeating the claim.
I mean, it's... I don't know.
It's
Sure, because
obvious.
of the
It's not a
chase.
fucking argument.
Yeah, I mean, it is. but I don't know.
If you can accept the causal principle and then just think that everything, think there's
No,
an
but it's more
infinite.
fun just not to. But
No, but I guess what I want to know is, so you see, like my view would be, if the causal principle holds, right, then there's just an infinite chain of prior causes. But if the universe began to exist, then the causal principle does not hold, right? So
Well,
it sounds
yeah.
like he wants to say the causal principle holds, but does he want to then deny that there could be an infinite chain of prior causes?
Yeah, there's not an infinite chain of prior causes. I'll deny that. I give you my argument
Okay,
for that. Today.
okay, give us the
So,
argument for that.
so if it was an infinite chain of prior causes, then that would mean that you believe the universe has to be infinite, like has existed for an
Yes,
infinite amount of time.
yes. Okay, let's say that's what we think. What's wrong with that?
Well, no, I mean, is that what you believe?
No, I told you what I believe is that I believe in a disjunction. Either the universe has an infinite past, or it has a beginning without a cause. So I affirm that disjunction.
Okay, well, I'll just do the infinite one for now. So,
Okay.
if there was an infinite past, then each and every single moment in the past would have to have a moment before it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that would mean to get to
Okay, you could stop right there because I'm not going to be able to restrain Mason at this point. So I'm not even going to say anything because Mason is just not going to be able to help himself. Right? Right, Mason?
you don't want the argument? Or?
No, we know.
Is he saying the stuff about the infinite
Yeah.
past can't get to the present?
Yes, that's what he's going to say. And I can't. There's no point in me even continuing because Mason just will not have the self-control.
Dude, I was cracking up here.
let it
I was
out.
at my kitchen. I was literally thinking to myself, Mason's gonna hop in.
Yeah,
He's gonna pounce on him like a lion.
There's no way I can even get a word in edgewise from this point forward because Mason is.
I heard you. Are you gonna let him speak or?
Yeah, I'm gonna let him
Jack, if you want to
speak.
explain it to him, I'm happy to let you explain to him. I'm not.
I don't know who
No,
Mason
actually,
is.
I don't. Mason is.
I think Mason actually does a better job.
I don't mind Mason. I don't mind actually. If you want to, if you don't feel in the mood, I'll be happy to talk to him.
All right,
If you're anxious.
let me try to put it this way to this guy. So, like, do you think that if you're at some moment of time, and let's say like there's a moment of time in the future that's like finitely many moments away, do you think that you'll have any issue like reaching that moment in the future?
No.
Okay, well that's just true for every moment of time on an infinite timeline.
Well, no, that would be true if the timeline was finite. But if you're saying it's infinite, then you can't get.
You're not understanding. That's the so. Okay, do you think there's any day in the past that isn't like finitely distant from today?
Well, no, because I believe in the beginning.
No, but let's imagine. Let's
This guy's lost.
just imagine for the sake of argument that let's think of it as kind of like a reductio. Let's say do you know how reductios work? You sort of like take something that you think is impossible, right? And you suppose it's possible, and then you derive a contradiction, right? And then show that it's not possible because it would entail a contradiction, right? So let's just try to suppose that the past were infinite, right? For a moment, let's try to just entertain the idea. Right?
Okay.
I mean, look,
even if it seems like very fantastical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the interesting thing is, if we did suppose that, it would be the case that every point on that timeline prior to the present would be a finite distance away from the present, right? So if we thought about it in terms of days, right? Like we could say, let's say today is 0, right? Yesterday would be -1. The day before yesterday would be -2, and so on, right? We could have the negative integers be in one-to-one correspondence with the number of days prior to today, right? Now, there wouldn't be any day that was not a finite distance away from the present, right? Anywhere on that timeline, no matter what number you chose. Right?
No, that's not how infinity works. If
Here, I have to
you're giving me a number.
Let me try and give him an example that my intuition from. So let's say we're walking on a bridge, right? Yeah. And once I step on the first step on the bridge, there's new steps created behind me, right? Infinite new steps are being created behind me, but I still stand from the same point. I stand from the distance I was when I stepped on the bridge. From that point, I'm the same distance to the end of the bridge. And let's say that the bridge is 1 meter long. Even though there's new steps being created behind me, you would agree I would eventually reach the end of the bridge, right?
Well, yeah, but that's not.
That's the exact same idea. If the universe is beginningless, there's going to be no beginning. So there's just events that there's no beginning to the set of events, right? You can think of it. You can think of it like there's new events generated after already existing events. So from any event you are from, that distance to the present is a finite distance.
So your argument would only work if time was equal to wooden planks, but you can't just create time behind
Let's just try to focus on what Jack
I don't know
said.
how
I
this
think
goes.
that's
let's use that example, right? So do you think that there's a day that's not a finite distance away from today if we were to suppose that the universe had an infinite past, an infinite series of days prior to today? would any day on that infinite time, because you understand that the set of negative integers is an infinite set, right? You would agree with that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now do you think there's any number in the set of
Infinity isn't a set though. That's the issue here. Infinity is not a set of numbers.
He's saying
well,
it's an
It can't be
infinite
it can be
set, right?
confined in a set of numbers. That's the issue here.
well,
The second you say, is there a
all
number?
right, but let's I don't understand why you're saying that, but let's just hold that thought, right? We can come back to that because I sort of want to press this point here. So you agree that the set of negative integers is infinitely large, right?
I mean, you could just say negative infinity. There's
Well, in
no,
other
it's not,
words, what I'm
it's
saying
not
is if
defined.
we
It's
were
not
to
defined.
what I'm saying is something like if we were to start counting backwards, we would never come to an end, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just call that the set of infinite. I'm going to call that the set of negative integers, right?
But you
All the
can't though,
numbers.
because it's not a set. If there was a set number, a set is something from one to another, from one number to another. If it's infinity,
A
that's
set is any
automatically
collection of items. If the collection is negative integers, then that's what are you
Look, what I
talking
mean
about?
is something like this, right?
a set has a range though. That's the
What
thing.
I mean is this, right?
Oh my God.
Every integer that has like a minus sign before it, right, would be in the set that I'm talking about. Whereas numbers that don't have that, such as positive integers, would not be part of that set, right? So I'm drawing a distinction, right? If I say the number 2, that's not in the set that I'm talking about. But if you were to pick any number, right, that
So
was
you're saying any time before now is what is part of your set.
yes, every day.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's think of it in terms of days, right?
Days, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So my point is, if you understand that the set of negative numbers is an infinite set, right? What's interesting is that any number you pick, any integer you pick out of that set, right, or any number out of the set of integers that you pick, right, is going to be a finite,
Finite distance away from now.
yeah, like or a finite distance away from 0, right? Because
Sure,
like if we just think about it in terms of numbers rather than time, right? Any number that you pick, minus 1,001, minus 1,000,005, minus 5,000,006, right? Whatever number you pick, no matter how large or how small, right, is going to be a finite distance
Right.
away
But the
from
thing is,
0, right?
yes, but that's only because you're setting the number. That's my argument here. The second you say any number you pick
But
is a finite distance away from now.
do you agree with that?
Yes, that's because you're giving me a number to measure the
so-
distance
Okay, so
away from now.
let's
You do agree.
just stick with the agreement part for the moment, right? I understand you think that there's still a problem, but maybe we can just move forward and we can deal with the objection.
No,
you want
I
to
mean
raise
you said to
later.
agree with your point, but then give a contradiction.
Well, but
Right, isn't that what we're
wait.
doing?
We're getting. Well, no. I was saying that I wanted you just to. The reason why I brought up reductios was because I wanted you to just entertain the idea of it being true rather than ruling that out at the outset. I wanted you to at least entertain the idea that the past has an infinite, so we could see, right?
I mean, I really can't. It's contradictory. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll get to that. But
Okay. Well, okay. Sure.
But,
Okay.
but
I
the
see
point
what
I'm
you're
trying to
saying.
get at, the point I'm trying to get at right now
Yeah.
is that there's a strict analogy with the issue of integers being a finite distance measured in integers, right? From 0, with there being a finite with there being an infinite set of days prior to today, right?
I'll be honest. I'm kind of lost here. Could you?
Well, what I'm trying to get at, I'll
Yeah.
try to state it another way so it's clear. What I'm
Okay.
saying is that there's going to be a parallel when we think of it in terms of days rather than numbers, right? Because if you think of it, you can match up each day prior to today to one of the numbers in that
Yes.
set,
Yeah.
right? And so interestingly, whatever day you pick is going to be a finite number of days prior
Yes.
to
Away from
today.
now. Right.
And there's not going to be any number anywhere on that timeline that's not a finite distance away from today. No matter what
Correct.
number you pick, no matter how large,
Correct.
it's going to be a
Yes.
finite number of days
Right.
away
The issue is that
from
you're not giving me
today.
a number though. You're giving me infinity. That's the issue.
Yep.
Okay. but
Okay, this is...
You agree with what Jack said, right?
Jack. Oh yeah. Yes.
I'm Jack, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So one thing I want to say before I give it back to Jack is that should actually answer your question. The reason why is because if the question is about like how we would reach the present, well, you already agree that in cases where there's a moment of time that's a finite distance away, we will reach the present.
True,
That's just true
100%.
and that's just true for every point on the infinite timeline. So you actually
Infinity is not
already know
finite,
how
though.
you'll reach the present.
Infinity is not finite though. If you give me a number, if you give me a
Yeah,
set
Jack, I don't
number,
think you got
The
what you
distance
said.
between
no,
points.
I got 100% what he said. He said any number that if on the timeline of negative numbers from now is the distance is finite. But
Sure.
infinity is not a number. Infinity is not a set.
See, but
Okay.
the thing is, what we were supposing was, we were supposing, like, here's sort of like a series of steps to see what we were supposing. We were supposing, for the sake of argument, let's say,
Yeah.
that the past was infinite in duration, right? And so then we were supposing that we could measure that in terms of days, where we would think of it as there being an infinite number of days prior to today.
Yeah.
And then we were supposing that we could number each of those days with one of the negative integers, right?
Yes.
So, and so then we were thinking, well, what's interesting about the set of negative integers, if we think of today as 0, what's interesting about the set of negative integers is that there's no integer in the set of...
In the set of negative integers that isn't like finitely distant from
Yes,
0.
that's right. And then so similarly, there's going to be no day, right, in the infinite set of days prior to today, which is an infinite distance away in time from today, right? And so since there isn't some kind of like logical bar to crossing a finite distance in time, right? There isn't going to be a logical bar with respect to there being an infinite set of days prior to today, because it's just going to consist of days. It's going to consist entirely of days that are a finite distance away from the present. And so since there's no logical bar to crossing a finite distance, right, there doesn't seem to be any reason why an infinite set of days that are finitely distant away from today poses some problem to arriving at the present. Does that make it clear?
I understand what you're saying.
Oh, you do? Okay, good.
Okay.
Good.
Do you
Can I
agree?
respond? No,
Yeah,
I
go
definitely
ahead.
agree. But I understand what he's saying.
Okay, good.
So what you're basically doing is saying, even if you go back, however many days before now, and then you're giving me that day, from that day to now, is a finite amount of time, no matter what number you choose.
Right.
No matter,
Yeah.
no matter what number you choose. But the
Yeah.
thing is, the second you choose a number, that becomes finite. That's like saying no matter how
That's the
far back,
point.
no
He's
matter
not
how
good
far
at it.
back you go, you
Look, if there's no beginning to the number of days, right, and we're on day anything, from that distance to the present is a finite number.
Like, here's a
sorry,
way
from
that might be
what distance to the
helpful
present.
to, let's just try to condense
I don't
the
understand
reasoning.
how he didn't understand the bridge example.
Well,
I
try
don't
to ask
understand.
him
The
this.
thing
Because
is,
it was
finite isn't
gibberish.
equivalent to win
That's
and blank,
because
so that doesn't apply.
your example was gibberish.
I
That's why
think
you
that was
didn't
the most
understand it.
elementary thing than
I
what
had
we
to
all
like look
said.
at the dictionary to understand what
Yeah,
lunch
it's
was.
a
Yeah,
very simple
it
example. It
was
just
just
doesn't apply to
nonsense.
time because it's a wooden plank, not a day.
Like,
A length of time.
Jesus, you're not understanding.
well,
That's because it's gibberish. That's why he's not understanding.
wait,
What?
GC.
It's gibberish.
All right, GC. Let me ask you a few questions, and hopefully this will help you get it. Do you
Go
agree?
ahead.
Do you agree? Do you agree with this statement? Do you agree that, like, let's say, like, for all pairs of days where you have a day for all pairs of days, right? If you have a day that's like finitely distant into the future from the starting day, then you will reach the final day. Do you agree with that?
You're saying that if you define a day that's finitely, or like a set amount of days that we will reach that
Yeah.
day.
No, I'm saying if you have for any day, if you have a day in the future that's finitely distant away, then you agree that you'll reach that day, right?
Well, in my opinion, the world's gonna end. So, I mean, I don't know that the
So
time.
if you have a day that's finitely distant away, right? From
Well, I
any
can't
day, do you
agree with that
agree that you'll reach that day?
Well, no, I mean, if you're saying that the world's like, if people on this earth are gonna reach day 1 billion, I don't know if the world's gonna last another
No,
billion
listen.
days.
When you say the days in the future, you're already assuming that the world's not. You're already assuming that time's not going to
No,
end if you say
okay,
days
yeah.
in the future.
Then yes, I assume.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Now, here's
Not
the
me
point.
not me personally, but
Okay.
I assume that day
Okay,
will.
Okay, we get the point, Jesus.
One
Yeah.
second. Now here's the point. That's true. That holds for every day in an infinite past, right? And so it's just trivial. So it follows logically. It's just inescapably follows that you'll reach the present.
No, it's not infinite past. You said a finite.
Second.
You didn't say infinite.
1 second. It
Okay.
inescapably follows that you'll reach the present from any day in the infinite past, right?
No, it's not true at all.
What I just gave was a deductively valid inference.
You said a finite day in the future, and now you're saying that's
I'm gonna
infinite
try again
past.
with this example because
No,
I think he's just
do
I don't
not
think you should
give
even
that
bother with that
example.
bridge
No.
example because that's
Oh, no.
what's wrong. How's it horrible?
It's gibberish.
It's laughable that you
It's,
think
it's just gibberish.
Hold on, Jack. Shh. How's
No,
it
no,
horrible?
don't.
Jesus?
I think I think like that. I just think that example kind of confused him. I think we're almost at the
No,
point
it's
of getting
not
him to
completely. It
agree.
just doesn't. It's like it's just doesn't make sense.
Don't even respond. Don't
It's
even
like what
respond.
number is a
No, no, no,
circle?
no,
Don't,
wait,
don't even
wait.
respond to the bridge example. We're just going to
No,
get
wait,
off
no, no,
track.
no, 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 we're
Can't
gonna,
do
no,
it.
that's not true. Hold on. Well, how was it horrible, GC?
Well, aside from it, whether it's
Come on.
horrible or not, I just
Move on, I can
think at this
respond.
Wait,
point,
I just want to hear why he thinks it's
Yeah, but then you're
horrible.
going to respond. Then you're going to respond.
Yeah,
and we're going to
exactly.
go
That's the
off
point.
track. Yeah, but we're going to go off track if you respond.
Just let me know if you want to respond.
Yeah, so just respond anyways.
Okay.
How's it
So
going?
okay. Because when you are at a beginning, you're assuming that there's no time behind you because you said that this is your first step on the bridge, right?
oh god,
You said that that's what? Oh God, what? You say oh
sorry.
God a
Yeah,
lot
you
like you just no like this
you're
is
you're you're
yeah, go ahead.
walking up
Yeah.
on a bridge, yeah.
Yes. And you're saying you're taking the first step, and as you're walking, there's someone putting planks behind you, or there's planks being put behind you. I heard what you
Mm-hmm.
said. Yeah.
Infinitely
Okay.
many steps are generated.
All right.
That's gonna be the
Yes.
most
Can
intuitive
I
way.
explain this? Could you guys stop so I can kind of get this out?
But GC9, okay, look.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
do you
So okay. Yeah,
understand?
go ahead. Just
Look,
take
do you
that. Yeah.
understand what like deductive validity is? You know how you can have
Not a
like.
clue. I have no idea what that means.
Okay, so have you heard of?
Maybe I don't know. Do you think there's a way to do it without trying to go to the formal inference? Because I feel like that's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, you're right. Especially because for somebody who has no idea what validity is,
Yeah.
my thought was that he had some idea, like he's
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
like
yeah.
some.
Well, he
But yeah,
probably
if he
does. He
doesn't.
probably just doesn't have the terminology.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know. It might be. Maybe there's a way we could circumvent trying to do it that way.
Could you guys please get to the point? I gotta
Do
go
you think
soon.
one good idea is like, do you want to try another thought? Like, just try to like walk, like, so put everything together with a, like, so
Another.
just try to get him to picture, the infinite timeline where you are and show how
Well, do
like
you
it's
have
defined.
another example in mind?
Oh,
Another
it's
thought?
not a bridge example.
Yeah. Besides that, do you have another one? I'm not sure if I
Um,
have another one at hand.
Here's what I want. Let me try to do this. Okay, here's what I want you to imagine. So
So funny.
imagine like we're at some day. Let's say we're at the day in the past. Like let's say we're at like 5 years ago. Okay.
Sure.
Let's say so I'm
You're
alive on
talking
that
right now?
day. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Okay. Yeah. 5
And
years ago.
let's assume that the past is infinite. So I'm on that day,
Mhm.
and let's assume that the past is infinite. Right? We agree
Okay.
that from that day there's a
Mhm.
finite interval between that day and today.
From 5 years in the past to today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finite. Yeah.
Okay. So we're let's assume that the past is infinite. Does that
Okay.
change? Is the interval still finite?
From 5 years to today, no, it does not
Okay.
change.
So let's stay on the assumption that the past is infinite. Right. So what's
Okay.
going to happen is that time will pass. I'll get older, and eventually I'll reach today. Right. Because you're gonna remember
You said
why
5
did I?
years to today. What do you mean it reached
Yeah.
today?
And no, as in like eventually time will pass till it reaches the present today.
Well, you said 5 years to today is
Yeah,
finite.
I see.
But
Yeah,
yes.
I know. So we're assuming. Okay, so we're assuming. So we're pretending as if we've traveled back in time and we're 5 years ago, and
Oh,
we're
okay.
talking about time passing till today. Do you
Oh, I see.
follow?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
So
Yes.
now,
Understand.
we agree that that interval between 5 years ago and today is finite. We agree that if the past is infinite, nothing changes about that interval. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say like I just live my normal life. I get older. Eventually, what's going to happen is that I'm going to get to today. Is that correct?
From 5 years ago? Yes.
Yeah.
As you grow older,
Okay.
you'll get to today. Yes.
Okay. Not in that description. I didn't. Nothing changes if the past is finite or infinite, right?
In that
Because the
description.
interval is still
Well,
finite.
well, I mean, if that's because we're assuming the past is infinite, But I'm saying
Right.
if the past is
But
infinite,
when we
then
made
this
that
moment wouldn't even
assumption,
exist. This moment wouldn't even exist. But yes, under the assumption, yes.
when we made that assumption, nothing changed about the interval between 5 years ago and today, correct?
Sure.
So if there is a problem with an infinite past, it won't be a problem with me reaching today from 5 years ago, right? It might
No,
be
of
some
course it would,
different
but I'm just
problem, but
saying
it
no
wouldn't be
because you're
that
saying
issue.
no. Of course there'd be an issue, but I'm just saying no because I thought we were just assuming that the past is infinite, even though I didn't agree with
Okay,
that.
okay. So let's just try this again. So we're assuming the past is infinite, right? Now let's
Yeah,
say
if we're assuming the past is infinite, then there's no problem with that. Sure.
okay, fine. So if the past is infinite, then the issue with the infinite past wouldn't be my ability to reach the present from some day in the past, right? It might be something else, but it wouldn't be that.
Actually, I take that back. No, that is an issue.
Oh no,
If the past is
no,
infinite.
oh no.
What was the issue?
Well, because the point is, what Mason is trying to say is that whether or not the past is infinite, it does seem like there's no straightforward problem with moving from a point 5 years before the present and till you reach the
Well,
present.
the issue
right?
is that timeline wouldn't even exist because there's no starting point. So you can't say
Right,
that 5 years
but
ago. There is
Mason
no
is saying,
now.
what Mason is saying is there might be a problem. Let's grant, for the sake of argument, right, that maybe there's a problem with infinite timelines, with the idea of an infinite past. Maybe there couldn't be an infinite past, right? But whatever problem there is, or set of problems there is with an infinite past, the problem doesn't seem to be a problem with getting from a finite distance prior to the present, right?
Well, you can't go from 5 years ago to
No,
now
I understand that
with an
there's.
infinite past. You cannot have those
Look,
two together.
I understand.
Yes,
I,
exactly. In the chat said 5 years ago wouldn't exist. Yes, that's true. 5 years ago would not exist.
Oh no!
This guy's
Oh
so.
no!
Because time wouldn't have started. There's no starting point for
Hey,
time.
but no, I like this guy. He seems
I
like
actually like
intellectually
this guy
honest.
too. I like this guy too.
Thank you.
I wouldn't attack this guy.
Yeah, but he's too dumb.
No, don't be mean.
I
The
mean,
guy
I
is
can say the same
nice.
thing to you, but
No,
like
no, the guy
a hundred times
is
more.
How am I
nice.
being dumb?
Don't be mean. Don't be mean. Come on.
No,
Don't
I'm not
be
gonna
mean. This
start this.
guy.
I'm not gonna start this
We
thing,
need to
but
credit. No, I'm not criticizing you. I'm criticizing monkeyboy.
yeah, no,
No, I want to
to
criticize this guy for saying he could say the same thing about me.
Well, I mean,
What have
I
I
could
said
care
that was
less.
dumb?
I care less about your criticism. I gotta
What did
go
I say
soon.
that
I
was
gotta
dumb?
go
All
soon.
right.
So just hurry up.
Look, the point is, you have an objection, right? What Mason is saying is, okay, presumably you have some objection to there being an infinite past, but what that objection isn't any objection to the idea that moving from a finite distance prior to today is, right? That's not the problem that you have with an infinite past. So whether or not there's an infinite past, there's no problem with moving a finite distance prior to today up to today, right? Because you're saying that's coherent whether if the past is finite, right? And the point is, even if the past were not finite, right? There might be a problem with the past not being finite, but the problem can't be that you can't cross a distance from a finite distance prior to the present that that's an uncrossable distance, right? Because nothing is
He's not
different.
here.
Oh, he's not here. Okay.
Yeah, Monkey Boy kicked him because of his bridge
Yeah.
knowledge.
You kicked him?
Yeah, I did kick him.
Oh.
Because it
Well,
wasn't
he had to go.
comprehending
He had
infinitely
to go
generated
anyway.
stuff.
But,
No,
but
for him saying that he could call me dumb.
No, I'm just messing with you.
But no, seriously, you don't think the bridge thing is not incoherent at all? It's just
no, it's not. It's not incoherent at all. But it's just fun to tribute to you gibberish.
I would think that's
examples.
just an easier way of understanding.
It might be.
But,
It might be.
I don't think he was tracking most of the math stuff about.
Yeah, he does. He's super confused about math. He has no
Like,
idea what
like,
a
I
set
think
is.
just
He has
saying
all this-
intervals and stuff and sets just like he was just bewildered. He
Yeah,
didn't actually.
which is why-
like he acted like he understood and went along with it.
You know,
he wasn't entirely clear about those
I
mathematical
don't
terms.
even know. You know what I would like somebody to do is actually ask Craig about this, because I don't know that even Alex Malpass, right, has actually raised the issue quite this way to Craig, right? Like, if you got Craig to, because Craig wouldn't be able to sort of resist the argument through incomprehension the way somebody like that kid GC9 or whatever his name is was able to, right? I'm not saying he was being dishonest, but I'm just saying, like, we weren't able to sort of land because he didn't understand it. But Craig would certainly understand it, right? If I said to Craig, any point on the timeline prior to today, if the past were infinite, would be a finite number of days. Because Craig is one of the people, right, who says you could never reach the present, right? You've heard him say that, right? Or seen him say
Yeah,
that.
he says that. Although it
Yeah.
might be tricky because he wants to say that there's like a metaphysical bar there as opposed to a logical one, and there might be some work around there. I'm supposed.
Yeah, but isn't the idea behind never having to reach the present an appeal to a kind of intuition that you would just always be counting, right? You'd never actually. It seems like the way in which he says that is he's trying to say that you'd never actually arrive at the present, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the point is, well, how could that be, given that he has to grant that any day prior to today is a finite, on that timeline would be a finite distance, and a finite distance is crossable, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
What would he say to that? I mean, that would destroy his argument. He might still want to say it's a metaphysical absurdity, right? Whatever that means, right?
That couldn't be the issue.
But that couldn't be it, right? And so I think that if this argument were posed to him, he'd have to concede that he can't say you'd never arrive at the present.
And with somebody like Craig, who's like more familiar philosophy, like the point I was trying to make about just like it being deductively valid that
Yes.
once you grant that like you have two moments and there's a finite distance between them that you'll reach the final one.
Yes.
You'll just derive that for any
That's
moment
right.
of infinite time. Like that will be able to work with him because he's like familiar with like some of those
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's too bad that Craig is so. It's hard to get to him, you know.
You should just read Malpass's work.
Well, he's read some of Malpass's work, because I'm sure before he agreed to appear with Malpass, he read.
Yeah, I think he had a discussion with Malpass on, was it like successive edition and
Yeah,
some
he
other
did.
stuff?
He did. Yeah, on I think it was on Capturing Christianity.
Yeah, those guys are trash.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and he didn't understand Malpass's objection. But the point is, the objection that Malpass was making about it's about this thing where you can say, it has to do with like the way you formulate the tense of the statement. How many days will, if you were to like, how many days will there be versus how many days will there have been, right? Or something like that. Do you recall what I'm talking about? This distinction that Malpass tries to draw.
Also, we do have a guest now up here.
Okay.
Which year do you want to talk about, Ronnie?
I was just wondering why you kicked me, you bum. This
Yeah, I
mother.
kicked you because you said you
Don't kick
can
him.
say
Don't kick him again.
Yeah,
Don't kick him
yeah,
again.
because you ran. Because you don't have an argument.
Don't kick him.
an
Don't kick him
argument for
again.
what?
Yeah, because you're low IQ. That's why you kicked me.
No, don't get into
I'm
the
not gonna
insult.
keep. I'm not
No,
gonna
no,
keep him
no,
here.
it's
He's
too
just
late. I have
insulting
to leave anyway. It's almost 7. I gotta go and go back.
All right, come
Just
back another
Don't come
time.
up here saying dumb shit.
Come back.
Wow.
Come back another time.
Well, if next time, actually, I already blocked him. I don't know if I can bring him
Don't
back.
block him. Get some better insults to insult Monkeyboy with when you come back next time.
I want him to defend that he could call me dumb. Like I said something. I wasn't even talking. I
Don't
wanna know
call
what he said that I said that was
Monkeyboy dumb. Call him stupid. Come back.
Or call me a gibberish generator. I actually like that. Yeah, word up. Hold on, this guy's not coming up. I could re-invite him. Did you want to come up, Rhoda? I saw that you requested. I don't know if it was an accident. Oh, you didn't mean it. Okay. Everyone here, tap the screen, share the live. We gotta get someone up here. Come on, let's try and get someone else up here.
By the way,
Mass
Monkey
tap.
Boy, I saw that the Troyer was in your comments saying a bunch of nonsense about me being wrong about something.
Oh, you know
Actually, I didn't see Detroit in your comment.
You know what's funny about that?
Oh, you paused.
Funny about that is that realistic nihilist Josh, he watched the video of Mason talking to Detroyer, and he posted a link to it, and he said it's amazing how Mason trolls Detroyer in this discussion. Which sounds hilarious because there's nothing more entertaining than watching Detroyer get trolled. So I really hope you did troll him because that sounds hilarious.
I'll say at the end of the video, the Troyer was quote unquote saying I trolled him. That as funny as it is, I just think it was a case where he had a bad performance and he said a bunch of stupid stuff, and that's just all I have to say about it.
It's not really like Detroyer experience to say stupid stuff, but okay.
I think he would
Is it
agree that he
Capri?
said a bunch of false stuff there as well. So, I mean,
I've watched it, so I can't comment on that.
oh, Jack,
You're kind of low.
Yeah, you're kind of low there towards the end, Jack. Holy hell!
Right,
What the hell is that?
I haven't watched the discussion, so I can't comment on whether what Detroyer said was stupid or not. It's not, in my experience, Detroyer rarely says anything stupid, so it would be surprising, but I have to be agnostic about it because I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I think the Troyer overreaches sometimes.
But you said Detroyer was commenting? Is it this Capri?
Well, no,
This weird name?
on Friction, his Friction channel.
What's up?
Wait, in one of his new videos there's comments or what? A community post?
He was responding. No, he was responding to somebody else's comment.
And he brought you up?
Yeah, he was saying that I was wrong about something. By the way, I need to find a way to make it clear. Like, if he wants to take the view that I was wrong about something, yeah, then I would like to hear the argument for that. But I mean, that offer is always present if he thinks he's able to show that. But Justin, go ahead.
I'll mention it to him when I talk to him later because he's usually in the VC and club, the VC and PNR usually comes.
Yeah, so
Which year you want to talk about, Justin?
Yeah, I'm also an atheist, but I do believe in objective morality.
But you agree
Okay,
that
interesting.
it's silly to deny that there's subjective morality, right?
Yeah, but that can't be what you're.
No, there is no subjective morality.
Oh no.
Do you know what I mean by subjective
Oh
morality?
no.
But I think,
Yeah.
boy, that can't be what your prompt means. That some.
Yeah, it's that trivial.
Yeah, but Jack, who
I
knows
use that
what
as a
Monkey
bit.
Boy means? Like, it's all gibberish. Like, who knows what he
Yeah,
means? Or
exactly.
anything?
You're not exposed to know what I mean.
No, but
That's the point, Jack.
But I know what you mean. I'm confused.
No, because look, to say that there's some subjective morality just means something like some people will make moral statements where they understand that what they're picking out with those moral statements or what they're trying to express with those moral statements is something subjective rather than objective.
Well, morality is either subjective or objective. Like, there's no mix.
No,
One is sort of like what people mean
kind of
by moral
confused. When you use moral language in a subjective and objective way, you're just equivocating.
All right, Justin. Well, how about you try to make your moral realist case here? Whatever. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, so there's a website called Psychology Today, and because they are a scientific source that documents human behavior, and they say that morality is objective, I'm just going to hold this to be true.
Wait, hold up. You believe morality is objective because you read it on Psychology Today? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, is that not a reliable source?
No,
Okay, wait,
not for
what do
meta
you think?
ethics. What?
Just okay, wait. There's a whole bunch of problems.
It's
with
like
what
a
you just said.
biologist talking about particle physics. What?
But
No.
let's just try to figure this out. What do you think it means for morality to be objective?
It means to be stance independent.
Okay, like give us an example.
Oh, wow.
Let's say I have a moral
Nobody's even
statement
used
like
to this thing.
I have a moral statement which is like burning children alive for the reading light it provides. You know, it's morally wrong. Like, what would it mean for that to be objectively true? Like, try to.
Yeah, it would mean that it doesn't matter what anybody says. It's true.
Okay, well, I wouldn't say that's right exactly, because think about it. Suppose, like, I'm a subjectivist. I might say burning children alive for the reading light it provides is wrong. I might even say it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. That's still true. Like, technically speaking, somebody who's a subjectivist might still say that. Well, I think what you want to say is that the truth of the matter of that statement being right or wrong, whatever, or of that action being right or wrong, is completely independent from
said
anybody's
it.
attitudes and values, right?
That's a contradiction because you said it.
Yeah, but you agree that what you want to say is that not just that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, more so that the truth value of that proposition is independent of anybody's attitudes and values. That's more accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, now you think that's true of paradigmatic moral statements, and the reason you... Wait, is this T.I. Coco guy? Is that like the Coco that runs the other live, monkeyboy?
No, I don't know how that is though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so Justin, so you think that's true about moral statements because you read somebody's article on Psychology Today that said that, right?
Well, it's not just somebody. Put it this way: if you wanted to learn about heart attacks and strokes, you know where you go to.
Just try not to derail. Just try to figure this out. So you think that's true?
I'm not derailing. I'm telling you my reasoning.
I'm just trying to make sure I follow everything. So you think that's true because you read an article somebody wrote on Psychology Today that made that claim, right?
Yeah, and it's obviously going to be. I'm going to treat it as true because it came from a credible source.
Okay. Do you think was that like an opinion article on Psychology Today?
No, there wasn't an opinion piece.
Okay, I'm kind of curious. Can you what was the article called? I'm kind of curious what it was exactly.
Yeah, just look up Psychology Today and then type in morality is objective. And
wait, monkeyboy, are you able to pull up this article?
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think there's a question here about how it could be that whether or not moral realism is true is a claim that would be determined through scientific methodology, right? Like, how is it a scientific question at all whether moral realism is true? I think that's sort of what's really at issue.
Because everything you want to know. So like if you want to find the truth about anything, you look to science because that's the best method that we have to figure anything out.
Now, it sounds like maybe this guy has like a Sam Harris type.
Yeah, that's what I'm suspecting. By the way, that's what I suspect this article. So here's what I think the article is. I think it's like some opinion piece. It's like basically like a cloak Sam Harris thing. That's what I wanted to pull it up.
Well, I do agree with Sam Harris on a few things, but no, it's not an opinion piece.
Okay, can you read where it says morality is objective, monkeyboy? Or can you show your screen? I don't know if you can do it.
No, I'm on my laptop.
Okay.
I mean, at my PC in front of me. I don't see anything about where it's getting to. Hold on.
Does it say morality is objective? I just want to
figure out like what this sign. The article has a stop sign on it, a stop sign picture.
See a stop sign, monkeyboy? No.
No, I don't see any stop sign. Hold on.
Justin, can you send a link in chat, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the part that's at the very beginning. What, that part?
The stop sign part?
Yeah.
Okay, you see
that's not even a stop sign, but
what is
it's
it?
A sign.
Okay,
I
fine.
thought it was a stop sign.
Okay, so we have the article. So where does it say anything about morality being objective? I just want you to read that part.
It doesn't even give an argument. Okay, so Here, what I'm reading
Actually, wait,
is
monkeyboy first. It's an opinion article, right?
I don't know how to even check that.
Okay.
Well,
What
opinion
makes it
articles
an
would say
opinion
it
article?
on the near the title.
Let me look at the article, but monkeyboy, I can still hear you. I'm gonna go off for a second. So just keep reading it.
Relativism, even if part of the story of human morality, cannot be the whole story. There's a need, at least a felt need for clear, definite moral lines that cannot be crossed without near universal, robust commendation, radical, and gender discrimination, or sorry, racial. The text here is very weird. Can I change the text? I don't like this font. I think this might even be confusing
Yeah, so I looked through it. So
universalism
I see the
with
issue. So
objectivism.
okay, yeah, Justin. By the way, so yeah, so it's just some guy's opinion article. So that's the first thing to point out. So just note, like, this is like people write opinion pieces all the time on Psychology Today. Like, it's nothing that's endorsed by the organization. So in case you thought that.
Who is the author? Just out of curiosity, does it say?
Yeah, let me get the name one sec.
So I'm curious to know how you came to the conclusion that's an opinion piece, considering the article never even said that.
But I guess maybe what we should do is consider
Some guy named Eric Ditech.
Okay, never heard of him. All right, well, then maybe what we should do is consider kind of like whether I don't know whether you agree, Mason, that this is the way to approach it. But here's my proposal. Maybe we should consider how it could be the case that whether or not moral realism is true is a question that could be investigated using the methods of, say, the natural sciences.
Okay, although I think in some
unless
cases,
you have a better idea as to how to, because I think there's a deep confusion here, right? And I'm trying to figure out how to sort of unravel it.
yeah, we could go that route. It's fine. Although,
if you have a better proposal, go ahead. I'm not like wedded to that idea. That's just like sort of what came to me. Like maybe that's what I would do if I were talking to this guy.
I just think so. One thing I thought might be of importance is like the view that is described in this paper is more or less just like a sort of Sam Harris type of view. So this is kind of like analytic naturalist view. So maybe
analytic. Yeah, maybe we should ask him if he's an analytic naturalist. So do you think that that moral properties are identical to some natural facts of some kind?
Or like suffering.
Right. So suffering. You want to say that there's such a thing as suffering. Okay, we could grant that, I think. And then it's true that things that are bad are things that, let's say, cause suffering, right? And there's sort of like an identity.
By definition, yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we say the definition thing, let's hold the definition part. Let's just first establish that there's an identity relation there, if identities are even relations. Would you grant that there's on your view that there's an identity between the bad and what causes suffering?
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm not too philosophically
No,
literate.
that's fine. I'm not trying to like. I want to be able to talk to you in a way that you can understand. So I'm not trying to intimidate you or anything like that. So like in other words, we might say that there's different identities that hold in the world, right? So we might say Superman is identical to Clark Kent. We might say that a bachelor is identical to a married man. Now there may be differences I think there is a difference between those two types of identity statements, but they're statements that establish that two terms, sort of like.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying. Okay, so now is your view, because this is what I take the Harris view to be, which sounds like maybe the type of view that you have. Is your view something like there's a set of bad things, and what the set of bad things consists in are things that cause suffering?
Yes.
Okay, now I think the question is there's traditionally sort of like two basic types of identities in philosophy. One is an identity in terms of meaning, which is called an analytic identity, right? And that's to say that an identity holds just in virtue of the meanings of the terms. Now, what I mean by that is something like, let's take the statement, a bachelor is an unmarried male, right? So I'm expressing an identity there. I'm saying that a bachelor is identical to a married male, right? But that identity holds in virtue of the meanings of the words, which is to say that if I had the concept of a bachelor and I had the concept of an unmarried male, right, I would understand that it would be sort of trivial to say a bachelor is an unmarried male because all that bachelor means is unmarried male, right? So if I were to ask the question, is a bachelor unmarried? It would be a strange question to ask if I knew what those words meant, right?
A good example of a bachelor is Jack Inkstrick.
Right, exactly. So that's one type of identity, right? But see, that type of identity, which is called an analytic identity, an identity which holds in virtue of the meanings of the words, is contrasted with another type of identity called a synthetic identity. And a synthetic identity is an identity that holds, it's sort of a little bit harder to get across the idea here, but I'm just going to say, and I'll explain this, it's an identity that holds in virtue of some, what's called a worldly fact it holds, right, or obtains, right? So like, for example, Superman versus Clark Kent. Superman is Clark Kent, right? So now there's a name, Superman, and that name has a meaning like any other term, and there's a name, Clark Kent, which has a meaning like any other term, right? But to say Superman is Clark Kent is not to express an identity which is true in virtue of the meanings of the words, right? Because you could know the meaning of the name Clark Kent and know the meaning of the name Superman without understanding that the two are identical, right? Just like the morning star is the evening star is another famous example, right? So that's to say that there's some fact which holds, some fact about which is not a fact about meaning, right? Some fact is true in virtue of which the two things sort of like picked out by the names are the same thing. Do you see what I'm getting at? It's different from saying a bachelor is unmarried, right? Now, traditionally in the field of metaethics, right, which is the field sort of like concerned with theorizing about what the meanings of moral terms are and what the metaphysics of moral, what the metaphysics of morality consists in, right? Like what is the nature of moral truths or something like that, right? In that field, right, there's a view. There's a type of view called naturalism, which is to say all moral facts are natural facts. They're the kinds of facts. Let's say naturalism is the thesis that what exists is studyable by the methods of the natural sciences, right? Let's just say that is the meaning. You know, you can have a very long discussion about what the term naturalism means. But I want to try to avoid those issues,
dropped?
right? Oh, they both
Wait,
dropped.
what happened?
Oh, is he back? Oh, no, Cartesian is back. Where's the other guy?
The guy left.
All right.
Wait,
Well,
did you
whatever.
disconnect or what happened?
Who
I don't know,
knows?
he might come back.
I mean, you, Mason.
He couldn't endure Jack's rambling.
No, he couldn't endure monkeyboy's gibberish. That's why he left.
I wasn't talking, so it
I
can't be
know.
that.
That's how
It's not
bad the
plausible.
gibberish. That's how bad the gibberish is. That even when you're not talking,
Yeah.
you're driving people
it's just-
out.
I admit this like non-oral gibberish, right? It's just like
Wait,
emanates
but
from my
what did
aura.
you think? No, but did you think that my exposition was actually bad? Because
No, I thought
okay.
So I thought the explanation of analytic and synthetic, I thought that was fine. And
Okay.
and I think presumably like, once you understood that, then we can figure out whether he's saying there is
Yeah.
one
I wanted to just say what I thought the synthetic naturalist thesis would be and what the analytic naturalist thesis would be, and then ask him which one he would affirm if either one. You know?
Because maybe if he affirmed like the analytic naturalist,
is
maybe
he here?
you can try to. Oh no, it's a different guy.
This is a different guy. Okay.
But like,
Yeah,
my
I'd run the open question.
Yeah,
I'd
that'd be my thought.
I'd run
that
the
he'd be
open question.
sympathetic
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah. I'd run the open question argument. Because look, even if they claim it, even if they say it is a closed question, right? Clearly, they're not talking about what. For many people, it's not going to be. So there has to be a change of subject, right?
Exactly.
So at that point, it's just like, okay, well, let's talk about. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess what Davy likes to say, and maybe he's saying something that Lance Bush says here, is that if they just sort of grant that they're changing the subject, they're really saying something trivial, which is like, this is how I use the terms, right?
Exactly. And it's like and if he wants, and so there might be this different question you can ask him, which is like, okay, you're using the language that way, but like everybody else is talking about something different, you know?
Right, exactly. Or a lot of people anyway. Right. But okay, we got a different guy here, so we might as well drop that for now.
Yeah,
So what does this guy have to say? What do you have to
what's
say
up,
for
man?
yourself?
Could you explain what do you mean by morality is subjective?
So the truth value, so there are moral statements, and those, you know, the truth of those statements or their falsehood depends on the kind of attitudes or the values or the preferences of agents.
I think maybe a good way to think about it is in terms of chocolate ice cream. Like, would you say that if somebody said chocolate ice cream is great, right, that they'd be probably saying something subjective rather than objective? Because there might be people that like hated chocolate ice cream, right?
Right.
And presumably they wouldn't be mistaken. If they said chocolate ice cream was bad, somebody else says chocolate ice cream is great, right? They're not really, it's not the case that one is saying something true and the other is saying something false. They're both saying something true, right? But what they're doing is sort of like maybe expressing their own values, right? But there isn't sort of like a right or wrong value to have about chocolate ice cream. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Hello?
I was directing that to you.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce your name. Is it Song?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm
what I
getting
wanted
at?
to ask
Like, it
is,
seems like that's a subjective.
yeah.
It seems like saying, I mean, some people might think that it's an objective statement to say chocolate ice cream is true. But I think most people probably have the view that it's subjective, right? There's sort of like no
Right.
fact
Okay.
of the matter, no right or wrong about it.
Right. Okay. Is it subjectively true? The morality is subjective, or is it objectively true?
You might say that it's objectively true that morality is subjective.
Yeah. Okay. That's self-refuting then.
Oh,
No, it's
no.
not. No. Okay, look.
Oh, no.
So to begin,
You're
when we say
appealing to
look,
objective
Uh-oh.
morality.
We're in trouble now.
That's
We're in
the morality is
trouble
subjective.
now.
he's already been like
Oh my
deleted by
God.
monkeyboy, but like Song, when it's said
Oh.
that when it's said that morality is subjective, what you're saying is that the truth value of normative statements depend on the attitudes
No,
of
is
agents.
that statement
Right, you're not.
subjective or objective?
One
No, look,
second.
there's a
One second.
there's
You're
a
not.
very
You're not.
there's a very
Oh,
easy way to clear it up, I think. So moral subjectivism is just saying that first order normative claims about what ought to be the case.
no, he's not going to
Do you think
understand
he's
what that
gonna
means.
He's
understand
not
any
He's
of
not
getting
going
that?
to
the first order
understand that.
stuff.
He's not going to
Really?
know,
No,
yeah, what you
what?
mean by that. Oh my God.
Son,
Davy.
I can't believe you actually thought that that'd be like the right thing to tell him. But like,
Oh my God.
look,
That was
Song,
like monkey boy level gibberish,
Yo, that was
Davy.
Song,
We're
Song,
gonna
just try,
Davy.
have to start
Maybe I'm
calling
getting
you the
Okay.
gibberish
Song,
maybe I'm
try
getting
to
generator.
follow what
maybe
I'm
I'm getting
saying.
maybe I'm getting too used
Okay.
to
So
to you
To
two
monkey
calling
boy.
me
Song,
saying
He's
monkey
Song,
boy
about to
rubbing
stop
off
trying
on
to take
me.
my title.
Monkey boy is rubbing off on you.
like,
Oh
Song,
my God.
He's not
presumably,
taking my
like,
title, though. I have to
when
say
somebody
that.
when somebody says that okay, when somebody says that morality is subjective, what they're saying is that the truth value of the moral statements, so statements like X is wrong, right, cruel, uncruel, permissible, whatever, they're saying the truth value of those statements depend on people's attitudes, right? So they could still believe that it's objectively true that morality is subjective, right? That wouldn't be self-refuting because all they're saying is that the truth value of the moral statements depend on the attitudes of
Well, actually,
people.
why don't we just
No,
bring it back to
that
the
just
food? Why
calls
don't we
into
just bring it
question
back to
now
the
if
food,
truth is
right?
subjective or
Wait,
objective.
hold on. Wait, Song or whatever.
That's question begging.
Do you think statements about the taste of food are subjective?
Yes.
Is that an objective statement?
That would be a subjective statement.
It's a
Oh
subject.
no!
What?
Oh
No.
no!
No.
No, because I separated the two. There's subjective things
No,
and then
but
there's
Song,
objective things, right?
is it objectively true that the statement "chocolate ice cream is great" is subjective?
No, that's subjective. What are you talking about?
Oh
No. Okay. So
no!
So subjective doesn't mean a statement
No,
about
no.
subjective things.
Okay,
Subjective means it's made
hold on.
true by your
Hold on.
opinion.
Can we go back here? Okay.
Wait.
Sure.
So
What's
wait.
up,
I
man?
want to
You're
have.
question begging now if truth is subjective or objective.
No,
We're
Song.
not talking
Okay.
about truth.
Oh
We're
no!
talking about
Oh
morality.
no! Oh no! It sounds like this guy came to run some like motivated apologetic here, and he's not really interested in like.
Wait. You're just question begging if truth is subjective or objective now.
What?
Because you brought two things in it.
Monkey boy,
We're not
what do
talking
you want
about-
to keep talking to him? What do you want?
We're not.
truth subjective
We're not
or
talking
objective?
about. We're not talking about truth subjectivity or truth objectivity. We're just talking
Yeah,
about.
but you said is this
All right, look, Song. Like if
No,
I
you
say,
asked
Hold on.
the
Wait.
statement.
Hold on. I actually want to hear what he was going to say. What did you say that I was saying?
You asked
Yes,
me
he's
if the
just
statement
jumbling
that the
words, he
chocolate ice
doesn't know
cream
what he's saying.
tastes good is subjectively or objectively true, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Wait. Yeah. And
Okay, and I'm saying that's question begging whether truth is subjective or objective.
Oh, he
Wait,
doesn't even know
how
what
can that be?
question
How can
begging
how can a
means.
question be question begging?
He
Question begging.
doesn't even know
Question
what
begging
that
is
means.
No,
but
because you're
to be
assuming the truth has to be either subjective or objective.
Questions aren't the kind of thing that can be question begging. Arguments are.
I would
You
encourage
understand
like,
question begging is like an error made in
Oh
an
my God.
argument, right?
but real quick, like guys, I
No, why are you
just
assuming
tell
the
me.
truth is
Hold on a
either
second,
or?
Song. Just be quiet for a second. Tell me if you agree with my statement here. Try not to correct him on his terminology. We all know he doesn't know what he's talking about, but like I feel like we just need to focus on like getting him to understand this like distinction between like saying that a statement is subjective versus it being objectively true. It's subjective.
We should
Like
get this J guy up here after. He sounds entertaining.
He's not gonna understand anything else. But like, Sung, look, if I say that there's a statement
Who?
we agree is subjective. Chocolate ice cream is great. Okay.
This J guy in chat.
We agree that statement is subjective. But like, it's still objectively true that it's subjective. You understand that distinction, right? Right, Sung?
Oh my
Wait.
God.
Okay. Song.
Yeah, what's going on?
When we
Can you hear
say,
me?
Well, just
when we say,
just let him say
when
if
we
he
say-
understood what I said or not. Like,
Okay,
Sung,
okay.
did you understand what I
Wait.
said?
No, say that again.
Okay,
Oh
so
my
we have a
god.
statement: chocolate ice cream is great.
You
Now,
cut
that
out a bit. Say it again.
we have a statement: chocolate ice cream is great. Now we agree that that statement is subjective, right? But it's also
Yeah.
objectively true, or at least it can be objectively true that that statement is subjective. Do you understand that?
No, you question begging if truth is subjective or
No,
objective.
wait,
You
but
keep
no,
kicking the can down the road. You're
Song,
just kicking the can down the road, bro.
Hold up, wait.
He's
Do
just
you,
This is painful.
do you understand that or not? If you don't understand it, we have to explain it. So I'm going to assume you don't understand how a statement could be subjective, but it could be objectively true that that statement is subjective. I'm going to assume you don't understand that. Is that correct?
Okay, I understand now. Okay.
Okay, you do understand. So do you
Okay, wait,
agree?
It's
convey to
objectively
us,
true
convey to
that
us
your
what you
statement
think
is
we mean.
subjective. Yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah,
objectively
okay,
true that
try
your
to
statement is
reproduce it.
subjective.
Okay, you
Okay, go on.
understand. Try to reproduce it. What is it that you understand?
Okay, you're saying that chocolate ice cream is subjective to okay, if chocolate ice cream tastes good, that's subjective
Yeah.
to me. That's objectively
Sure.
true that it's subjective to me. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
right.
That's good.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so
perfect.
so
Now
when
we're just saying
Objective
this.
truth and it's
Now
subjective
we're just
truth.
yeah, so
saying.
when people
But
say
you haven't
morality
proven
is subjective, right? That statement is objectively true, which is entirely compatible with saying morality is subjective, because that's not a normative claim.
He doesn't
no, but
understand what
that's a
normative
circle though.
means.
That's a circle.
All
No,
right,
it's
so,
not.
like if you understand it in the food case, all we're gonna say is that we're saying the same thing in the morality case. So if you understand it in the food case, even if you disagree, we're just saying that we're saying the same thing in the morality case. All right, do you understand that?
Well, I don't think we brought it full circle because we were just saying it's objectively true that some given normative claim is subjectively true, right?
Yeah. So we're saying
But we
like,
haven't brought it back to the actual like metanormative claim being objectively true.
well, okay, yeah. So look,
Okay,
all
I
we're
get it.
saying here is that in the
It's
same way that
objectively true
look,
that
in
you can
this,
say that morality is subjectively true. Yes, I get it.
okay,
But that doesn't mean the
fine.
morality is subjective.
Yeah,
Because now
sorry,
you're
that's right.
reducing it down
That's
to the
right.
human level.
Yeah, we could still have a
You can just
disagreement.
say it. You can
Okay,
say it, but
well,
that doesn't make it true.
I agree. We could still have a disagreement over whether morality is subjective. I agree with you. Right, but the point is that we agree that it's not self-refuting, right? So that's the point. The objection you're giving is that there is self-refutation. And that's false because you also acknowledge that we can say morality is subjective and it's objectively true that morality is subjective. So you agree that it's not self-refuting, right?
It is because one of your premises is in your conclusion.
Oh no. Oh, just
Yes, it
kick,
is.
at this point, just kick him out. I don't think
Wait,
we're gonna.
What are you talking
is
about?
the J guy still in chat?
I don't know. Song. I'm sorry. Like it's not. Look,
Yeah,
I
he
don't
is.
have anything. I don't
No,
really
no.
have a problem with you. I just think you're. I don't think it's worth like. I don't think we're gonna get anywhere with you. Sorry.
All right, Jay, which one you want to talk about here?
Morality, subjective morality.
Okay, so this guy said earlier in chat, is it possible what you're saying is a chemically determined false belief? So maybe we could also talk about evolutionary argument against naturalism. Might also be on the table.
I don't think he's defending the EAAN there. He might not.
Really?
No, I think it was determinism versus free will.
Oh, well, free will is
Oh.
compatible with determinism.
I mean, it's a relativist view as well. So
Wait, what?
No, free will and determinism have nothing to do with relativism versus like non-relativism.
wait, is it
Wait,
not
relativism about what?
relativist view like with subjective morality? As
Whatever
Oh,
it is,
moral
relativism about it
relativism?
has nothing to do with relativism about anything.
Talk about luck of the draw.
Wait, okay.
today.
Oh, I think I
Wow.
think maybe I'm connecting the pieces. So he's saying, is it possible you have a chemically determined false view about some moral statement being true? But that's just confused about how the truth of moral statements works under moral relativism.
Make sure you understand what he's saying before. Like,
So it's just for any true statements. Is it possible that you're saying a chemically determined false belief?
yeah, sure. For any belief I have, that's for any true statement, it could be the case I have a false belief. Sure, let's grant that.
Yeah, then
From
you can't make arguments. You can't account for knowledge.
Okay, well that's not true. Let me explain why. Because all you're granting is that it's a possibility. In some broad sense, it's a possibility that the belief is false. Right? But
Yeah.
you might still have good reason to think the belief is true, even if it's possible that the belief is false.
So is it a universal claim? Or let's go back to morality then. Are you making a universal claim that subjective morals?
Okay, maybe you
Only
guys should
exist.
handle it. I don't feel like talking to this guy.
But this guy's nice too. This guy's not an
Look at all these
He's nice.
people
I'm not.
so
By the way, Jay, I'm not
confused.
saying anything against you. I just don't feel like talking to you. I'm just.
Okay,
That's fine.
maybe
It's always
off
these
track.
ethical
So,
conversations that are like the worst.
yeah, people don't understand meta.
People are attracted to monkeyboy. It's the gibberish
Yeah,
generators.
I think I'm rubbing off on all of
Yeah,
TikTok now.
exactly.
My presence on this account is just like so impactful. It's wild.
Okay, are we giving Jay a chance or no? Is there
Can you
anyone
answer
else?
the
Yeah,
question?
I'm down to kick him. He's not
As in,
interested.
can you answer the question, please?
What was the question?
Are you making So what I'm trying to say is that you can't make universal claims within your worldview because your worldview doesn't allow that to happen. So you can't say objective morality doesn't exist.
What do you mean your worldview doesn't allow you for universal moral statements? What
What
are you saying?
What you're
How does
saying?
my worldview not allow for that?
Because it's self-refuting in that case.
Well, how is it self-refuting?
What's self-refuting?
Because you can't make universal claims within your worldview.
Why?
How? Yeah, but you said the reason why I can't is because it's self-refuting. Then asked, how's it self-refuting? You just repeated the claim.
It's
Like,
a circle.
how's it?
You can't make, you
How
can't make
am I
claims under your
self-refuting?
worldview because it's self-refuting, and it's self-refuting because you can't make universal claims.
Yeah, well, there's the
Yeah, so
contradiction. As in,
what's
you're
the
That's not a
saying,
contradiction. That's a circular loop.
no, you've said that subjective
Look,
morals
do you
only
understand what it means for something to be self-refuting?
No, you've said
No,
that
you don't.
subjective morals can only exist. That is an objective claim.
Oh, so yeah, we're doing the same thing with this guy.
It's an objective claim. What is an objective claim is supposed to be?
You've made a universal claim saying that only
Universal.
subjective.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Okay,
wait,
wait.
I just
Point
want
of
to
clarity.
check something.
By
Wait, so
objective, we
yeah,
don't
I want
mean
to have a point of
universal.
clarity too. Wait, so like if I say there's a pen on my desk under atheism, am I allowed to say that?
Is there a pen on your desk?
Yeah.
Can you say that there's a pen on your desk? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I can make some truth claims, right?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. What about I have a bottle of vitamin gummies on my nightstand. Can I say that?
Actually, you can't say none of that
Oh, I can't.
because everything's grounded in the mind according to your worldview.
Well, how did you get that from what I've said?
What the hell? Is this guy a troll?
Because you just said, like, if you say, okay, with subjective morals, subjectivity means that everything's grounded in the mind, right?
No, that doesn't follow.
What are you talking about?
So what do you mean by
Subjective
It means
subjective
moral-
moral
okay, okay,
language
so
is used in a way
subjective-
in which the truth of moral statements require stances.
Yeah, so it's just about moral statements. You realize it's not about every single truth claim, right? The claim, like any statement that's truth apt, moral subjectivism doesn't encompass all those statements. Specifically, ones about specifically moral claims.
So
which
what
is just a subset.
So what categories are considered objective then?
Well, to say a statement is
even
objective just means that the way that it's made true is not via mind. So, like if I say there's a pen on my desk, it's not something about my beliefs or values or attitudes that makes that true. What makes it true is the fact that there's a pen on my desk. The pen being there is what makes it true. And the pen being there would be true independent of like my attitudes about it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, subjective just means
so if I say the pen is on my
by
desk,
my personal
moral
values.
subjectivism, there's no problem with moral subjectivism in saying that because that's not a moral claim. If a moral claim might be like it's morally obligatory to put a pen on your desk or something.
Yeah. So what's your follow through your argument again? What were you about
I was
to
just
say?
saying that I don't see. Well, I was more critiquing your argument that moral subjectivism entails that I can't say that there's a pen on my desk.
Oh no, that I was talking about. I think that was separate. I think I was talking about determinism there.
What?
Okay, this guy's
What's your question?
Waste of time. This guy, he's just saying all types of crap out of his ass. What, dude? I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't listening to almost all of that because I'm writing an essay for school, but I only butted in after almost exactly before Mason. Like the last thing Mason said before he dropped is when I really started listening. And this dude since then was just saying stuff.
Is there anyone in the queue?
I taught him well, didn't I, Davy?
Yeah.
Did you know that was my student, Jack?
I literally said you can't make universal claims.
Say that again?
Did you know that guy was my student? Could you tell?
You were teaching him in gibberish?
Yeah, I was teaching him gibberish.
So Pimar says imagine being an atheist. Maybe he should talk to Jack again.
Alright. Wait, you want
I'll be
Pimars
back
up?
in like a half hour because I'm at a concert. If you guys are still here, I'll come back at intermission.
Okay.
I'll probably restart the live by then because I'm gonna need to take a break to put my phone in charge. Right now it's on 20%.
Why don't you just charge your phone while you're live?
Oh yeah, I don't even have my cam up. Why? Yeah, what the hell? I don't know what I'm thinking. But it doesn't charge while live anyways. It just,
what do you mean?
It's like, yeah, I don't know why. I think something about TikTok Live. I assume consumes power like crazy. It like lasts like 10 times longer. The battery life.
Just put on low power mode and turn down the brightness.
Yeah, but that's just.
And turn off mobile data.
But that's just not straight. So.
Yeah. Okay. I gave you a way to charge your phone. Oh, you just don't want to be live.
I gave you a suggestion.
You just don't want to be live. This guy said, "How are you making a universal claim that only subjective morals exist? Then just say objective morals."
Wait, what were you saying about PMARS? You said you wanted him to talk with Mason?
No, to Jack. I was saying PMAR said, "Imagine being an atheist," and I said, "Why don't we have you talk to Jack again?" But then Jack left. So.
I don't think there are atheists, but that's just my view.
True.
You want to talk with Song again? He's dying to talk with you.
Maybe.
Well, I think this live is.
If there's no one else in the queue, then sure.
Dying. Everyone tap the screen with all your soul.
But souls don't exist.
Get your fingers out your ass and mass tap the screen. Use all 10 fingers. Yeah, I can say scratch ass. Look, get those grimy fingers that have shit under their fingernails and peanut butter and gravel and wherever you put your fingers. Take those little sausage things they used to pick your nose. Tap the screen with them. You hear me? Or I will personally take your soul out your body. All right, you think that was enough motivation to get like 10,000 likes?
Yeah, but maybe say like PewDiePie.
I don't remember how PewDiePie sounds. I just remember he had a beard accent. PewDiePie is actually kind of trash of a YouTuber. I'm not gonna lie.
Really? I feel like he's not that bad.
Markiplier though, he's like the only one from that era who's still relevant and like actually good. You know, there's a new show with Markiplier. No, that is. Markiplier's actually still good. Markiplier made a new show. I forgot what it was called. I watched the first episode. Surprisingly, Mark actually is a decent actor.
Well, actually, I think you should amend that sentence. It's not he's the only one from that era who's still good. He's the only one from that era who doesn't touch children.
Wait, no, Jacksepticeye. He's in the clear.
Oh, true. Him and Mark.
But Jacksepticeye is. I'm not gonna lie, I can't stand that accent. I'm not listening to more than 7 minutes of him. I don't know how people can put up with that Irish accent. That shit's like.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I think I'd rather listen to the thick of... No, that's actually a demonic statement.
I'm in the thick
Everyone
of it,
act...
everybody knows.
Do you want to like get banned from my live or something?
I like...
Where's everyone's grimy fingers those slubby
I mean,
fingers?
you just got 1,000
Why are they
likes,
not
so
slapping
you
the
think-
screen?
I like in your top viewers list, one of them is Big Belly Gassy Alpha, and it's a pregnant wolf.
Wait, where? Oh, yeah. Yo, I did not know. I gotta mod that person.
Yeah, you have some fire viewers.
Yeah. What? Wait, I gotta see who else be viewing my lives. Oh wait, Big Belly just went to the bottom. Some people took the spot.
Wow.
How does it update? I don't know how that works, but
Probably random.
I have no clue.
Damn, this live's hella dead.
Don't laugh at me, I'm God. I'm sorry, Lord. Yeah, this live is. I don't know what people are doing with their
Wait,
fingers.
Monkeyboy, when
right
was the
now.
last time you said grace, be honest?
Last time I said grace. Also, that's just such a white thing to say. Say grace. It's just like last time you prayed.
No, not just prayer, like specifically like at the dinner table before eating.
Yeah, I never call that grace. That's like a white thing to say, but
Okay, but calling it praying wouldn't be accurate because you can pray without it being at the dinner table before eating.
no, I mean praying at the dinner table.
Did you pray today? Did you pray today?
I love that. Did you know I still follow him on TikTok? That is hilarious. He'd be freestyling. I forgot what his name was. Damn. But I don't know. Over a year ago, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. God exists, preach, brother. I'm a loyal listener to gibberish. I love that. Yeah, because then you learn just like the new types of made up words. Because then you can have kind of like ChatGPT gives you phantom links. You get like phantom words from me, and then you can just jargon with words that don't exist. Isn't that like such a cool concept?
Yeah. Let's hear this. What does this guy have to say?
Hello? I don't even know why
What's
I'm
up?
on this site, dude. I was just on somebody's live. I think I got booted, and next you know I'm here. What's up?
Why'd you get booted?
So I was
You were touching
showing...
children?
No, I was showing...
No, we can't have that up here. I'm sorry.
Why'd you kick him?
Because what he just said.
She didn't say that.
He implied it. Okay, he strongly implied it. Strongly suggested it.
What's the reverse of raptured?
D-rap. I don't know.
Brother.
Okay.
No, I didn't say that. I said I was proving a Muslim wrong about his God. I didn't say nothing about
Wait,
children,
which year do you
brother.
want to talk about? Which topic you're up there?
So I was just on a live. I'll just give you a briefing real quick. I was on a live showing that in their Quran, it even says Allah has a God and that they're following false
No, that's
gods.
fine. But which topic here do you want to talk about?
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
like
it's just
the
I
ones in the
got put
background.
on your live, but then all of a sudden you booted me because you thought I said something about children. I'm like, what the hee-haw hey are you talking about, bro? No. But anyways, you guys have yourself a great day, and thanks
Wait, you
for
don't want to
calling
argue
back.
about? You don't want to argue about one of those things?
Let's see. Argue about it? Let's see what's on here. I am an atheist. There is no good reason to believe in God. Denying subject morality is just silly. Denying subjective morality. What does that mean?
Do you want to explain it? I don't feel like if they don't know what it is,
Okay, sure.
then it's not
Like,
worth going through.
You know
But
how?
if you want to
you
talk
know
about
how
it, we can.
yeah, sure. You know how we think like when someone says, ice cream is tasty, They're not saying that it's some sort of They're not saying it's some sort of property about the ice cream. They're just saying that they like the ice cream, or they value the ice cream, or something, or that, something like that. They're like expressing their preferences or values. So subjective morality is just saying that that's what people are doing when they make moral statements.
Oh, so like if you say somebody chooses to live a certain lifestyle, but we don't agree with it, you're denying their subjective morality because morality is onto each of their own people?
Kind of, yeah.
I don't think I understand that thing, and I don't want to bore you guys or any of that kind of stuff. So thank you very much for pulling me back up, though. I appreciate that, and thank you, Davy, for saying, like, yo, bro, I didn't hear him say that. Not for a second, I'm like, did somebody, like, hack my program and make my voice sound like I said something creepy? But anyways, thank you, gentlemen. Have yourselves a great night.
Well, I do think all the PhDs are confused about moral realism, and that's most of them.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I'm talking about him being confused about, well,
it's one thing to have an informed position about people in a field being wrong, and it's another thing to say they're wrong because, I don't know anything about their field, but they disagree with me, so they're wrong.
Yeah, that's very different.
Atheists have higher rates of self-unaliving. Okay.
Dope.
What if theists had higher rates of self-unaliving? Would we think theism is false because of that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Anyways, what's up, Rondale? Which year you want to talk about?
You can't read names. Randall,
bro. What's up?
I'm gonna call him Rondale. It's fine.
Rondale Dingle.
Randall? Okay, it's fine, man. So are you saying there's no objective morality? Is that your...
No.
Okay, so you believe...
But I do think there's not objective morality.
Yeah, that's not what he's saying in the background, but that is something he believes.
Okay, no,
yeah, that is something I believe.
So
I don't think there's objective morality.
Okay, so give me a situation where it's right to abuse a kid, like a baby.
Well, we don't think there's any situation.
Well,
but by objective, we don't mean that there's...
Okay,
yeah, but I think by objective he means like something is always true, or like there's no context in which it's okay.
Okay, wait, hold on. So if there's no reason to ever attack or harm a baby, right?
Yeah, what do you think objective? What do you think objective means when I say objective?
What do you think we mean by objective?
So it's all like in 100% agreement.
No. Under meta-ethics, if you ask an ethicist, if everyone agreed that something was wrong, that's still compatible with it being subjective. That would just be intersubjectivism. Agreement doesn't have anything to do. What it means to say something is objectively true, it just means it's made true stance independently. What that means is the values or attitudes or belief indexed to a particular agent, those beliefs, attitudes, or values do not make the proposition true. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, relative to any particular agent.
Yeah, like suppose everyone thought...
I'm not a philosopher, so I apologize.
Yeah, but like suppose everyone thought that, okay, like, do you think like food tastes, when people make food statements about food, do you think those are subjective?
Yeah, it's pretty subjective.
Okay, but what if everyone agreed that pizza tastes good? Every person on Earth, would that make it objective?
It will make it objective, actually.
See, but that's not what we mean by objective. What we mean by objective is something like, even if no one thought pizza was tasty, it would still be tasty.
Okay, so your example...
So it's some sort of property about the thing itself where people's opinions about it don't matter.
So your example of the food thing is not realistic because we all know food is subjective. I'm talking about morality here. Okay, I asked you a question.
All right, monkeyboy, I'm going to be honest. I already give up.
Yeah, you understand what he's saying is in the same way we would say foods are subjective. The reasons why we would say judgments about food taste are subjective are the same reasons why he would think judgments about moral facts are subjective.
The fact that he said, okay, but what you're saying is unrealistic because we know food, like, come on. I just can't deal with that.
Did you see my conversation with, what's his name? Tim, the dogmastic magistrate?
Mastery? No, I haven't.
You should watch that.
Is it on YouTube?
I want to know. Yeah, but it's not in my, it's public, or it's not in my videos page. If you go to my community post, I have the debate there. I use this so I can promote my Patreon that way.
All right. Well,
all he's saying, yeah, he's just saying in the same way that we would say facts about the taste of foods are made good subjectively is the same way we would interpret facts about morality to be subjective, right? The way in which they're made true, right. And that's just variant on a particular person's values and preferences and attitudes.
So you don't have an idea of what is like harmful and right to do as humans?
Oh my god!
Bro, it's a question, man.
Yes, obviously, I do.
Okay, so can you give me an example?
How about torturing babies for fun?
Okay, no, well, do you do that?
No,
you don't do that. Okay, so why don't you torture them?
Why don't I do it? Because
that's morally wrong.
So hold on. He's gonna misconstrue that. I don't do it because
I know.
Because you guys talking about like it's very simple,
yes, because you don't know basic metaethics.
No, but when we say it's wrong, we don't mean that it's some sort of property of the action, whatever that could even possibly mean.
But then you're saying there's no objective morality, and I'm telling you you're wrong about that.
No, it's not denying that there's objective morality.
Okay,
It's just
hold on.
equivocating
Okay,
on good. What we
what
mean
if I
by
said?
good is just
Okay, but I think he was saying
okay.
because you said something is wrong, that means you can't have. That means that you do believe in objective morality. Is that right?
That's not what I said.
That's not what you're saying. Okay, then I have no idea what you're saying.
So I started off with the question of if it's right to abuse a baby. All y'all said no, and then I asked you, give me a situation where it is okay to do that. You said no. So
Okay,
if you, if you
I would abuse a baby if it meant everyone on Earth would die
well,
immediately.
you funny man.
Otherwise.
So in conclusion,
Well,
we
but
all agree.
I just gave a situation where it would be okay to torture a baby.
Yeah, I think I want to try.
So
I want to try
is
doing
that
this.
realistic though? Is that
Okay,
realistic?
why does it matter
Okay,
if it's
wait.
realistic? No,
Because
hold
you're giving me
on.
unrealistic standards.
Hold on. Wait, why does it matter if it's realistic?
Because it has to be applied to the world we live in.
Okay, but
You can't give me
why does that
delusional
matter? I just gave a situation where it would be okay to torture a baby.
All right, tell me in history where that ever happened.
It doesn't matter if it's happened.
It does matter.
What matters is that it can happen.
It cannot happen
Okay, why?
because it's not happened before, and I don't.
It
see
hasn't
why.
happened, therefore it can't happen. What kind of logic is that?
Okay, bro. What is the reason as to why it would happen?
It doesn't matter why. It matters that it can happen.
Bro, just give me a realistic example, bro. That's all I'm asking.
This guy's so stupid.
Okay, let's say someone had access to the nuclear codes and they would bomb every continent or whatever, right? Why can't that happen? And they said, unless I watch you torture this baby, I'm going to do it. I'm going to press the button. Why can't that happen? Huh?
You know what, man? I'm just
wait. Let me just talk with him because okay. Let's just go back.
He
Let's
doesn't
just
have
go
a
back.
response. That's why.
I know. This guy. I know. This guy's a complete moron. I know that. But look, let's go back to the thing that. Okay, yeah. Look, we all agree. Okay, let's just say. Okay, yeah. Let's just say there is no scenario in which I might suspect that it's right to torture a baby. Okay, what about that fact has anything to do with whether morality is subjective or not?
because you have the conclusion that it's wrong.
Yeah, and that's compatible with subjectivism. Wait, Davey, let me do this one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah, so from the fact, we can conclude that it's wrong, subjectively at least. Okay, let's just say we conclude it's wrong. Well, no, I don't know where you're getting objectively, right?
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to be arguing for. No, you're saying from the fact that we can conclude
you have to clear
that's wrong in all
the very
scenarios.
beginning. He's still using it idiosyncratically.
I know what I'm doing, Davey. Look, so let's suppose we're concluding that it's wrong in every scenario to torture a baby. Okay, so where from that are we getting to objective morality?
Because everyone agrees that it's wrong. That's what objective.
Okay. Wait. First, we never substantiated that. We never got to whether everyone agrees. You asked me the question of in what scenario would I think that it would ever be right. I can think there's no scenario where it's ever right, and everyone else on the planet can think there are scenarios where they are right, and there can be particular people who think they're right in all scenarios, right? So that's not. So no, wait, I'm not done talking. So that empirical claim about everyone's agreement hasn't been substantiated. But look, let's grant that everyone agrees that it's wrong in all scenarios. You understand that still doesn't get you to objectivism, right? Well, because by objective, we do not mean everyone agrees on it. That's not what is objectivism in ethical literature. In ethical literature, again, as me and Davey told you, what it means for something to be objectively morally true is that the moral fact is made true by something that is not an attitude, preference, or value of an agent.
So you're saying God? Would that be...
No, that would be made... Look, if by God you mean a mind with particular attitudes, preference, or values, then that would also be subjective.
I don't think God have preferences.
So God doesn't prefer you don't grape?
wait, slow down, champ. When I mean preference,
you don't think God prefers? Wait, do you think He prefers His creation and children to go to heaven?
When I mean
yes, God has expressed preference towards this in the Bible. There's theological support for this as well.
You're misunderstanding. I'm saying God don't have preference when it comes to humanity. He loves everyone equally. That's what.
Does God? But you agree God has preferences. That's besides the point. Okay, God has preferences. God has attitudes. And God has values. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Creator of everything. That he has the right to, deter what is right.
We're not talking about that. Look, where we're at is you said God doesn't have preferences, which is just trivially wrong.
Wait. I said he doesn't have preferences when it comes to humans. He loves everyone equally.
God does have preferences when it comes to humans. Does God prefer that humans go to heaven and serve Him? Yes. God prefers you to serve Him, for humans to serve Him, than do sinful acts.
He loves everyone.
That doesn't matter. Okay, great. That's not what we're talking about. The point is God has preferences, and those preferences can be relative to humans. Okay, so look. I don't know why this guy's always pausing.